Welcome to the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day.
He has a bounce, he crosses 50, he pins the ears back, and he drills the goal! You can tweet that and hashtag it bloody good.
It goes high up and under the full foot. Becky's taken a ripper!
Makes a name for himself with these long bombs from outside the arc. It's a long bomb from outside the arc! This is the VAFA William Buck Premier Men's Match of the Day, all thanks to William Buck, streaming on the SEN app and on vafa.com.au. We have a pearler for you from Brighton Beach Oval. The undefeated Old Brighton side that have been so dominant to start 2025, coming up against St Kevin's, who are 2-1 and in pretty good shape after last week's thumping of D-La at Waverley Oval. We called that one for SEN. We're calling this one as well. On the balcony here from Brighton Beach Oval, I'm joined by the Director of Coaching here at the Tunners, Greg Hutchison. Greg, welcome.
Thanks, Paddy. Great to be with you all.
Great to be here. Tell me a little bit about this Tunners team. We haven't seen them since their defeat at the hands of Old Scotch rather than the grand final last year. It's a bit of a different lineup to what we're used to.
Yeah, a little bit different. They've been really fortunate they've been able to get Felix Flockhart back full-time from the VFL, and he'll have a huge influence on the game today. He's been a dominant ruckman for them in the first three games, and I've got no doubt today that he'll play a really important part in how Brighton go. They've added a couple of new young players. There's a young player in today, Zach Travers, playing for his first game. So he's a really interesting one to look at as well. And Sammy Flockhart is in and out a little bit with the VFL. His commitments there, but he's an important player for them as well. I think not a great deal has changed about the way they play. Even though they might have a couple of different people playing, they'll still try and do the same thing the way they play. They'll rely on some speed in the front half and put some pressure on, and their key backs and Gilbert and Benier are good players, so they're going to have their hands full today, but it's a good contest today.
Yeah, the changes for Old Brighton: Cam Hathaway and Hamish Dick out of the side. Hamish Dick with concussion, suffered in last week's win over St Bernard's at the Snake Pit. Sam Flockhart returning, as you mentioned, and Zach Travers coming in to make his debut. He's been playing as a small forward, I think, today after some time in the midfield in the under-19s. He's an APS graduate. Hutch, can you tell us a little bit more about him? Yeah,
look, it's a good family. We've had three of the Travers boys play senior football over the last few years. Come through the under-19s and through the school as well. His form, he hasn't played reserves, he's just played under-19s, and promoted him this week. He was pretty close in round two. He'll play as a forward to apply some pressure. He's pretty tough at the footy, so he should go pretty well.
You talk about that forward line that the Tunners have. It's been a pretty sublime one to start the season. 3 tons in a row, Hutch, and the last time you kicked 3 scores of 100 or more in a row was over the 2019 and 2021 season, so it took a pandemic to get there. It's not quite taken that amount of energy to become such a high-scoring team. What's been behind that this year?
I think the ball movement's been a key to it, and look, let's be pretty frank about it. They played Uni Blacks in round one and got hold of them by 100 points. They played Haileybury and got hold of them as well, and with the advantage of having Will Lewis playing that game. Hamish Dix has been really good for them, so they'll miss him today. The key forwards, they don't really have a key dominant forward who they rely a lot on. Sammy Flockhart and Felix will change in the ruck and go forward at the same time. Their small forwards are the ones that can be pretty dangerous. Hope's been really good. Benny Pryor gets probably the third or fourth best defender in the opposition, so he can get under the guard a little bit. So they've got multiple goal scorers. They don't necessarily rely on the one player kicking a bag.
Yeah, so Jamie Hope, in his 3 games this year, he's got 8 goals, averaging just the 10 disposals, doesn't need to do much with it. He had 1 last week. He's actually the number 1 player, Hutch, for marks inside 50, and he's not a tall guy, Jamie Hope. He's also dropped the 48. He's running around the number 7 today. Yeah,
look, he's super quick. Played at North Melbourne VFL last year. He's lightning. He's got great leg speed and can find space in the front half. He's not tall, but he will certainly be able to find some space and get some uncontested marks in there.
We will be catching up with Marcel Bruin, the coach of the Tunners, a little bit later on. He'll be joined by our man Raj Johnston on the boundary. Before we do, though, get to him, let's talk a little bit about St Kevin's. Raj Johnston caught up with their coach, Anthony Lynch, a few short moments ago.
I'm chatting with St Kevin's coach, Anthony Lynch. Anthony, great to speak with you. You had a loss to Old Scotch to start the season in round 1, but have bounced back since then, narrow into the Zavs, and a big win last week against D-La. Would today be your biggest test of the season to date?
Yeah, I think so, Raj. Yeah, for certain. Firstly, they're the only undefeated side, but obviously they're a side that probably very difficult to beat at home. They've got a pretty strong recent record at home, albeit we only lost here by a point last year. So, look, we're really confident in our group. But yeah, it's certainly our biggest challenge for the year so far.
You've had some close contests. The statistic is that 5 of your last 5 games have been decided by 7 points or less. Are you expecting something similar today?
Well, I'd like a really soft win, mate, that we win by about 10 goals, but I don't think that'll happen, and I don't think they'll give it to us. So, look, yeah, the recent history is relevant. It's interesting when clubs get into these sort of tight finishes, how frequently it continues to happen. So, yeah, look, we'll be ready for it. Hopefully we're on the right side of the ledger if that's the case.
And Xavier Duke comes in for his first game today. Can you tell us a bit about him and what we can expect?
Yeah, he's a great kid. Look, to be honest, he could have easily played round 1. He played the whole practice game series in the senior team and really just missed out, and he's gone back and had 3 great games in the reserve. So he's a left footer, he plays off half-back, he defends really hard, but he also bounces out of half-back. He's a great kid, yeah. Hope he goes well.
All the best. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks, Raj.
Thanks to Anthony Lynch and to Raj Johnston for that. This is the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959. We're here for the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. Paddy Grindlay is my name. Greg Hutchison is beside me, as is the life member Simon Petch, who has, I believe, conducted his pre-game walk of Brighton Beach Oval. How are conditions out there, Petch? And welcome to the broadcast.
Yes, g'day Paddy and Raj and Buttons and Hutch. Nice to have you all on board today. It's a little blowy down here today, something we expect coming from the south, not so much the north, but it is a north breeze favouring the Port Phillip Bay end of the ground. You can see the Sandringham Yacht Club so close in proximity down here, as you can hear in the effects mic. The wind is whistling through, but out on the ground it would probably be 2 to 3 goals. The breeze factor down to the Port Phillip Bay end of the ground. South Road end of the ground that's where the breeze, you'll be kicking into it. So whoever wins the toss, straight down to Port Phillip Bay end. The ground's in great order, really. Drought-proof grass down here, naturally for the cricket season, and it will start to die off rather quickly as the winter season gets into shape. But the centre wicket area is hard. Centre wicket area there, they haven't watered it too much. We haven't had much rain really in Melbourne this week, so conditions are great. We may see a little bit of cramping towards the end of the day because the ground is rather firm.
Marcel Bruin not too far away with Raj Johnston on the SEN Match of the Day. Thank you for that, Petch. It is a bit like a bowling green down near the scoreboard end of the ground. Lush grass. It's perfect conditions for footy. That wind, though, that is blowing towards the Port Phillip end of the ground, to the right of where we're standing here on the balcony, will play havoc, Hutch.
Yeah, to Petchy's point, we had to put some water on the ground yesterday. The centre wicket was really hard, so we gave it a bit of juice yesterday, and it's actually come up all right. The scoring end should be to the right down to the beach road, to the water end. It's going to be interesting to see what the wind does. I know in the reserves game, Brighton had the wind in the first quarter and couldn't capitalise and missed a couple of goals, and then that was the result in the end.
Harry Hill beneath us, leading out the Tunners for the first time in 2025 for an SEN Match of the Day. I love watching Harry Hill play, Hutch. He's one of the most highly rated non-VFL or non-AFL listed footballers in Melbourne, inside, outside midfielder. Kicked 3 goals last weekend to go with 25 disposals, 16 contested possessions and 6 inside 50s. Let's head down now to Raj Johnston, who has the coach of the Tunners, Marcel Bruin, beside him.
That's right, with Old Brighton coach Marcel Bruin. Marcel, thanks for joining us. What are the keys to victory in today's game?
I think that the contest is going to be the big thing, whether we can hold our shape and hold our balance to really create opportunity on the outside. We've got to defend really strongly. They're a great ball movement, great uncontested mark side. We'll limit that and we create our own opportunity off the back of really good defence, I think.
You've got a new player in your side today, Zach Travers, who's been in the under-19s. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, Zach, he trained with us most of the pre-season. One of 3 Travers, two boys just played out there, super family, competes really hard. He's a great leader. We're expecting he goes in, plays that small forward role, puts a lot of pressure on the opposition and hopefully snags it and gets a couple of opportunities and goals, yeah.
All the best, Marcel. Thank you.
Thanks, Raj.
Thanks for that one, Raj and Marcel. Great access to get in just as the Tunners run out beneath us. Greg Hutchison, you're not the Big V coach this year. You were last year. Daniel Harford's got a hell of a job picking some players. There's a few guys who you're familiar with in front of us today. Who are a few players that we should keep our eye on across both squads?
Well, St Kevin's last year we had Hodges, Al Richards, Sammy Tucker play, and Luke Winters played for the Big V as well before. The key forwards will be interesting to see how Paddy Kerr goes today, because unless James Stewart stands up at Uni Blues, they're going to be looking for a key forward. Again, Harry Hill, you mentioned. I was at a game a couple of weeks ago and I was happening to chat to Lenny Hayes, and Lenny said, Hutchie, has Harry Hill ever played AFL or VFL football? And if he hasn't, why hasn't he? Which was interesting. Tom Fisher's someone that was unavailable last year that I'd imagine he'd be putting his hand up, and I think that the dominant ruckman in the competition this year is going to be Felix Flockhart. So he's someone that Half would be having a really close eye on about where he's going to play him. It's obviously going to be in the ruck, and if he can find a better ruckman than Felix going round in the competition, he'll do very well.
He has been superb to start the season, big Felix Flockhart. Of course, he played a lot of footy for Port Melbourne VFL, 17 games, 8 goals, Hutch, and the only game he played at VAFA level was at this very ground against St Kevin's to end the season. Sammy Flockhart having a rest for that one.
Yeah.
Obviously not qualifying for finals.
And Max Benair and Darcy Gilbert, key backs for Old Brighton as well. They had interrupted seasons last year. They'd be two players that I think Half would have an eye on them as well.
This is the VAFA SEN match of the day. Let's go around the grounds for the first time, all thanks to the real stakes. Support your mates, not the stakes. For the other games across top flight, so Collegians are hosting St Bernard's in the Community TV doubleheader, so that's streaming on the Community TV website via the Herald Sun. That's Matt Donald and Tim Barbakos, Hugo Higginbotham, Cooper Watkins all standing by to call a ripper down at the Harry Trott. Collegians looking to springboard off an Anzac Day win over Old Scotch. The other streamed game is on vafa.com.au. It's Old Scotch and the Old Zavarians in a rematch of last year's round 18 Pearler at Camberwell Sports Ground. The Zavs handed the Cards a loss in that one. They were the last team to beat Old Scotch in 2024. They've started the year 2-1. Their only loss, a narrow one to St Kevin, so they will fancy themselves at repeating the dose. Carl Cummins and Pat Cortazzo on the call there. The other games, De La Salle taking on the Uni Blues at the Uni Oval. The Uni Blacks are on the trip away, taking on Old Haileybury. Let's talk a little bit of St Kevin's Hutch and Petchy. Luke Winter's the guy I've got my eye on today, the number 3. He was superb last week against Dealer, 30 disposals, 26 of those handballs. He plays in tight, 25 contested possessions, if you don't mind, 14 clearances, 18 ground ball gets. So Hutch, I think those stats are a bit of a dead giveaway. He will play centre all day long and probably go head-to-head with the likes of Fisher and Hill.
Yeah, he's a really good player, Luke. He's a tall midfield. He'd be 190, slightly built, but he's tough. He knows how to win the ball. It'll be interesting to see how he matches up against Fisher today and who goes to him. It'll be Fisher, and then that'll mean that Burnell and Hill will be the other two in there. Luke's a really good player, and he'll be able to see what Felix is doing at the centre bounces. And a good test for the new ruckman for St Kevin's as well. I think it's Hamish Reimers who looks like he's going to play in the ruck, so that's going to be a challenge for him.
Yeah, Hamish Reimers, he's a really good story. So he's been St Kevin's second choice ruckman to Billy Coates for years now. Didn't play a game last year at all because Billy was on fire. And he's come in with Coates injured out of the side and performed at a really high level. I'll tell you what, our man Hugo Higginbotham, the former coach of the year and premiership coach at Elstonwick, is absolutely enamoured with him. Hutchie, he loves him. He's a big fella. He'll go his absolute hardest all day, but he does have a challenge against both Flockharts. St Kevin's, by the way, will be kicking towards the cricket nets end of the ground. That's the one advantaged by that strong breeze. Brighton will be kicking to the left of our commentary position into the breeze.
So they must have won the toss here, St Kevin's, because that's the end in which Jock pointed to after he left the centre circle. So obviously a good start for them to win the toss. Now, it's not a massive breeze down here. 2 or 3 goals. We're up a lot higher than what the players are. So down on ground level, 2 to 3 goals, but you won't want to let the breeze do the job for you, that's for sure. Down here, they're very, very short pockets here. Plenty of daylight between goals, and Brighton like to play a real quick, fast game down at their home deck. It's made for runners and high flyers today, and I would expect in the middle the Felix Flockhart and Reimers combination going in the ruck duels for their respective sides. Should be a good contest all day today. Winter in the middle. Ferguson will probably start there for St Kevin's, up against Fisher and Hill. Dimartina out on a wing. He's always flighty. So I'm expecting a lot of goals scored down here today. Greg, you're laughing.
Yeah, it's a good description of players, isn't it? So, he's been really... Look, Kai Dimartina, it's been a hard one for him. He's been backwards and forwards to VFL as well. He works really hard at it, and if he gets the ball on the outside, he's a hard man to stop. Yeah. So they have flipped him through midfield last week at St Bernard's. So they used Dimartina, Hill inside and out on a wing. So that'll be interesting to see what Marcel does today with that. 25
disposals, 12 contested possessions, 4 clearances, Hutch for Kai Dimartina. Let's head back down to Kai Johnson. Raj Johnston, before we get started with this first quarter. Raj, this time I'll get it right. The wind blowing rather significantly, but how are conditions expected to play out over the course of today? We might not have Raj down there. No dramas. We'll come back for our first quarter in just a few moments' time, all thanks to TLC Healthcare. Think differently about aged care. We do, a principal partner of Old Brighton. The bounce to be called by our man Simon Petch. Both clubs breaking out of the huddle, and you can see there, Petch, he has called by you. It is Ferguson to start with Winter, and also Hodges in there for St Kevin's, Flockhart, Fisher, Burnell and Hill. That's one handy quartet as we see Harry Hill introducing himself to Cam Hodges. They will go head-to-head all day. This is going to be a pearler, you'd think. It is Old Brighton, last year's minor premiers, the team that got oh so close to a premiership in top flight, coming up against St Kevin's. These teams love to play close ones. In their last 5 matchups, all decided by 7 points or fewer. Old Brighton haven't lost a game at home since 2023. Late stages of that season. Let's see what St Kevin's can do today, Simon Petch.
Yes, in great conditions down here. Bathed in sunshine, the Brighton Beach Oval. Game underway. Ball just set up in the breeze as the umpire put it down, and it flicks out towards Jock. He'll get the first handball of the afternoon to Barnett. Away goes St Kevin's with the breeze into the pocket. Fist away from Kerr by 20 over the line out of play, and we'll have a ball in. So straight away you could see that breeze. It just held that ball up in the centre circles. Jock was straight onto it, and he had the first handball of the afternoon, and Barnett the first kick. Thrown back at inside 45, St Kevin's in. Port Phillip Bay into the ground, and Fisher straight out of play before Pryor could get there. Umpire says ball it in, and that's what they'll do. First 40 seconds.
To say it on that railway track side of the ground is where the ball will spend most of its time today, Hutch and Petchy.
That's the Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. Thrown back in, Reema's front berth, got it down to Winter. He got a handball to Richards, who handballs back to Reema, standing still. A handball back to Jones, back to Richards. St Kevin's, they have the football a fair bit into the middle. Not a real good kick. In there is Seaton. Now Seagar ends up for it for Brighton. Goes out wider here, Linda. He goes long or short with a kick. Gunson knocked off the football. Looking towards the umpire to see if a free kick coming his way. Richards on the outer side of the ground now sees it over. 70 out from Brighton's goal. No scorer, and for TLC Healthcare we've gone just on a minute and a half in this first quarter.
Yeah, the midfield matchups are going to be interesting here, aren't they? It looks like Tommy Burnell's gone to Luke Winter, and Luke Winter's about 190, and Tommy Burnell will be 172 at best.
Shallow throw in. Reema's won it down with both hands. Winter is grappling over it. Has his teammate Hodges around the neck. St Kevin's break loose. It's a hack kick down the wing that will work for Critchley. The kick 4 last week, and it's centre wing, far side he turns, kicks deep inside 50. Darmody, position 1A. Third attempt couldn't hold on. Barnett at ground level, who's been handy to start this year. The former Old Geelong midfielder, it'll be locked up. Inside 50, 40 metres out from the St Kevin's goal. We've seen them trying to horseshoe the ground on a couple of occasions. Move around that Old Brighton defence. Kerr in the ruck against Flockhart. It's the latter who wins it down to Fisher. Tumbles a kick outside of defensive 50, not for long though. Tucker got it to Richards, who was looking for Jock or Ferguson. He was wrapped up by Pryor, holding the footy. Hot whistle. Benny Pryor wins it back for the Tunners, and a bit going on ahead of play is... That was Seagar who was thrown into the deck. Umpire called play on. Now the Tunners, methodically as they go down this broadcast wing. It's Jamie Hope a long way from goal, who crosses the field. Lowen, centre half back, completes the switch to Tweedy. And that's where the movement stops though at right half back. Tweedy now, all his options soaked up, so Simon Petch will be forced to imagine to kick this one long.
Well, he's looking to come across Port Phillip Bay end side of the ground. He goes to McNabb and he marks. So that worked okay. Straight up the ground to the centre wing, and Hope takes the mark. A long way from home, goes in short. And he's picked off Linda, and Linda's got it. On centre wing here for Brighton. Port Phillip Bay side of the ground, goes back here to Fisher, and he marks. So unmanned here, Brighton. They can do what they like here. Another kick to Hill. Was that out? Just marked inside the line, set the boundary umpire. Centre wing, Hill goes into the breeze. South Road, end of the ground. Up they go. Reema's there, couldn't mark. Fell away, couldn't do same. Seagar head over the footy. Ferguson, a look away handball. Felix Flockhart to Finn Campili. Back here towards Fisher. Or Hill, he goes forward. But Reema's takes the mark in the hole. In defensive and St Kevin's at the South Road end of the ground.
So Hart moves it quickly. There's the debutant for his first disposal, and Xavier Duke. It was a good one. Darmody, left half back, goes to Gunson, far side of the ground, playground wing. That kick down, that wing was good to Barnett. Skipped over the hands of Hill, halfway down in the orange boots, the bright orange boots. Barnett kicks it his full distance inside 50. Playing from behind though was Gill, and he was out-positioned well by Sammy Linder. His third senior game from centre half back. Handy start to the year for the 18-year-old out of Brighton Grammar and the Sandy Dragons. Old Brighton moving it just slowly to start this game. Hutch and Petchy were at right half back, and there's no real intent to try and move the ball forward quickly, Hutch.
Yeah, no, they're using the ground, and Sammy Linder's an interesting player. Started off in the under-19s, came out of the school. Big rap on him from Simon McPhee down there. Said he's one of the best captains he's had at the school. So we look forward to him being a really good player for Brighton.
Beautiful movement from Old Brighton. Seagar and Tweedy, and then inside 50 to Hope, who was clipped high. Perhaps a second after he marked. No 54th coming, so now Jamie Hope's going to have to kick it all of 46 metres, you'd think, with the wind blowing directly into his face. Hutch, does he have the distance?
Yeah, he'll get this trip all right.
So once again, Old Brighton switched play, and it worked on the Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. So this side of the ground obviously is going to be favoured by, I'd say, both sides here today.
29 goals last year for Jamie Hope, 9-time multiple goal scorer. He's a full-time player down at the Tunners for 2025. For his first, he steps through the arc. That kick looks narrow. It drifts across. And it misses to the left-hand side. First score of the day to Old Brighton. They're one behind. St Kevin's yet to score. We've elapsed 5 minutes in the first term. All thanks to TLC Healthcare. Sorry,
you weren't. You were sure about that. His distance with the kick into that breeze was okay. So he's not a bad kick at all from that 45-metre arc. So Jock to kick the ball back in. He's looking Port Phillip Bay side. He'll go in short to Hart. And he takes the mark in the back pocket. Down at the South Road end of the ground, a long way from home for St Kevin's, attacking to the Port Phillip Bay end of the ground. He goes long with a kick. Up towards centre wing, they'll set themselves. No mark taken by Reimers, fisted away by Flockhart. Fell down to ground. Linder got a handball out. Burnell went through, didn't go with it. Reimers a bad handball. Didn't help Barnett out, but Gregson, like a bull, tried to work his way through a Reimers tackle. It didn't happen, and we'll have a ball up. So only one score so far, and that's a minor one to Old Brighton. And we've gone just on 6 minutes for TLC Healthcare in this first term. Ferguson nearly a throw to Walters. The umpire said throw that one back in because it went over the line. So you can hear the breeze and the effects, Mike. We're a lot higher than the players, so probably not as breezy down on ground level. Thrown back in. That's a decent throw in. Reema's got it down in front of Felix Flockhart. Hill goes through. Hodges off the ground with a kick. Oh, it didn't work. And in fact, the umpire said play on it. Must have touched the ground inside the centre square. Wasn't marked by McNabb. We'll have a ball up.
So not much to write home about from this first 7 minutes of play. It's Brighton by a point. It's the only point of the game so far. Walters has 2 Tunners to deal with. He was tackled off it by Burnell, not before getting the hand pass to Ferguson, who backed his pace. He was collected by Flockhart, not before getting it to Reimers. Now Tucker behind the centre circles, advances it on that win inside 50. And it's held onto by Critchley, who had 2 to deal with, one of them being Darcy Gilbert. And the veteran did superbly. He marked strongly.
One-on-one contests all around the ground. Usually both teams will try and get their winger back off the contest, but they're one-on-one. It's just a sign of respect that each club's got for each other.
Here's a beautiful kick, and he kicked 3 last week.
That he did, or 4 last week, Simon Petch.
Yep,
so
okay.
He's at right half forward, 45-degree angle. A kick of about 40 metres for Critchley. He'll have to start it left and hope it feeds back. He starts it right and it goes even further. In the end, lucky to score. Sneaks in for a minor score. St Kevin's their first of the game. They are one behind. Old Brighton one behind. Greg Hutchison.
Yeah, even to reinvent Critchley as a forward, it's a good move by Plugger. You know, he's been a really good defender, but pushing forward's a great move.
Oh, it's terrific. 4 goals last week, and his first shot today. Sam Flockhart takes the mark from the kick in for Brighton, goes to Wag. He marks centre wing, heard the call inside. Handball came, and away goes Montanaro. I think it was a kick towards Flockhart. Oh, he couldn't hold it, Felix. He picked it up, though. Heard the call, Gregson. Carey back to Gregson, left foot kick into goal, missed. Another minor score there to Brighton, taking them on to 2 behinds, 2 points, leading St Kevin's 1 behind 1 point. For TLC Healthcare, we've gone 8 minutes in this first quarter.
How quick was that from the Tunners into the wind? As soon as they got that relieving mark from Sam Flockhart, they were off and running. Here's the young fella Duke on debut on that left foot. A nicely weighted kick in the Winter direction, who takes it on the bounce. It's a hack kick though down the far wing side of the ground. Should be a 2-on-1 here, advantaging the Tunners. There's McNabbie, ducked one tackle, just tumbled the kick indiscriminately towards half forward. It trickles inside 50. Ag is there for Old Brighton. Jeez, he's got some intensity to him, the big number 50. Who was so impressive last week on debut. He was supposed to debut, I hear, in round 1, Greg Hutchison, but some flight dramas got him stuck up in Noosa.
Yeah, he played in a practice match and he missed a flight back from wherever he was coming from and didn't go down well with the coach.
It's good to see him back on the field now. Here goes St Kevin's from centre half back. Walters kicks it into the middle of the ground. Beautiful kick for Darmody, who pushed off his opponent Linda and moved forward. He's going to try and find Kerr. Back with the flight across the front. Tweedy, stupendous, pushes it wide to the far side wing to Dimatina.
So Dimatina couldn't mark, but St Kevin's end up with it out there. And Barnett, great tackle laid on him by Sam Flockhart, close to the boundary line, and we'll have a ball up. G. Kerr going back there with the flight. And the Old Brighton defender coming out. That could have been dangerous had they have collided. They didn't, and Delamitru sees the ball over here for St Kevin's.
Yeah, very brave by Campbell Tweedy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Both brave by both players.
Around the grounds just briefly for the real stakes. Old Haileybury 2 goals straight. University Blacks 1 goal straight at Princess Park in Caulfield South.
Eyes only for the footy. Both rucks go at it. Sam Flockhart palms it down. Going through was Mansfield without the football. Hodges applied a tackle, but Brighton worked it forward into the middle of the ground. Now they're having trouble bending down, picking up Richards, a handball, not a good one. Chopped off by Carianis, who goes here towards Hope, and he takes the mark. Plays on straight away, centre half forward, and mark taken. Oh, Felix, he dropped it. Couldn't hold on to it. Tucker, a handball. Gave it to Hart, it misread. It bounced away from him. Now Sam Flockhart bombs it back inside the 45. Now was the door left open? No, going back in. And being brought to ground was Burley. And we'll have a ball up right in front of Brighton's goal at the South Road end of the ground.
So 15 metres out from goal. Felix Flockhart playing deep. Cal Jones spikes it to Hodges for St Kevin's. He tried to go to centre half back and jock. Instead it found Fisher, the opposite number 6. His kick is an up and under to the goal line where it's marked by Angus Hart. So he's a player that St Kevin's have switched down back for Sam Critchley, who's gone forward. That kick hangs in the air. Gilbert picks that one up. That is a great spoil, Greg Hutchison.
Yeah, missed opportunity there for Brighton. We had Hopey running back into the goal square, and the St Kevin's guy did well. Beat 1 on 3 and neutralised the ball, and missed opportunity.
Liked watching Jamie Hope. He doesn't commit to following his man up the ground. He just stays deep and waits for the footy to come his way, which it has in the first 10 minutes or so of this contest. 2 behind Old Brighton, 1 behind St Kevin's. It's Old Brighton into the wind that have made the running. Sam Flockhart smothers Walters' kick. He goes again. His kick carries all of 6 metres. Gets through for St Kevin's. Mansfield to Richards. He tumbles it towards right half forward. Darmody happy to see it out.
He's working hard, Richards. He's both sides of the ground. He's getting his hands on it, but sometimes that lets him down with a handball or a kick. That went to no one, really. In front of the scoreboard, Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. TLC Healthcare scoreboard, 2 playing 1. Old Brighton on 2 behind, St Kevin's on 1. You would have thought in conditions like this we'd have goals scored. We haven't. Reemers palms it down. McNabb brought to ground. And the umpire says, give it to me, old ball. This one up on the 45-metre arc. Down at the St Kevin's end, attacking to the cricket net, Port Phillip Bay end of the ground. Now Fisher along the ground, Carianis. Handball had to be good to Burnell. It was okay. He worked a handball into Seagar, but it bounced on its point and bounced over the line out of play. And we'll have a ball in.
Greg Hutchison, this would be well and truly the longest time Old Brighton spent without a goal in the first quarter this year.
Oh, well, yeah, to credit to St Kevin's, they're a really strong unit. They're really well disciplined. They've got one-on-ones around the ground, and they know if they let Brighton get on the run, they're going to dominate the scoreboard. So they've done a really good job, St Kevin's.
Thrown back in, Reemers front of the pack. He got a handball down, a palm down to Richards. Now Ferguson onto his right boot. He goes towards half forward. Oh, gee, Benier up. Was it Gilbert? It was. He couldn't hold on to that one. Now it came back to McNabb. Umpire's blown the whistle, and Linda will get a free kick here for Brighton.
They've held up well, the Tunners. You can hear the wind in our effects, Mike. We've mentioned we are high up above the ground, but they're having to battle into a pretty significant breeze. No goals in this one yet. A kick down the line. Tucker is there, as is Ag. They all jumped underneath it, and Carianis is away. Beneath us at left half forward. Beautiful kick into the corridor. Seaton maybe dragged down his opponent there. Looked to be the young man in Travers. And Zach Travers in the number 51 will go back for a chance at his first goal in senior VAFA footy. Vic Metro representative back in under 16s in 2022. 11 games for the Sandy Dragons last year. He's had a really solid start in the under 19s program, as we've mentioned. Slide angle, a kick of about 30 metres for young Zach Travers, the 19-year-old out of Brighton Beach and the Sandy Dragons, who was brought down by Seaton on the runway, drills it! And they all get to Zach Travers. And we have a goal at Brighton Beach Oval, 1-2-8 Old Brighton, one behind St Kevin's. Nearly 15 minutes gone in the first term thanks to TLC Healthcare.
They've been fortunate, Brighton. They've had, when Felix has gone forward, Sam Flockhart's gone into the ruck, and he's been able to dominate in there and across half back to try and get the ball out, and then it's allowed Felix to go and have a rest up forward. He probably should have taken 2 marks, Felix. So Sammy Flockhart's really important for them, and a good goal by Zach. Carra at his best is coming the ball, and just a nice little left foot kick inside 50.
Beautiful. You can see the whites of Karayanis' eyes here. He just swooped on that, didn't he, Greg? And he wasn't hungry, was he? He wanted to find someone, and he did.
Yep.
And it ended up with a good team goal in the end. Thrown in the air in the middle of the ground, and Fisher wins it out. Goes to centre half forward, chopped off by Andriski here for St Kevin's, and goes out wider here to Gunson, who goes forward with a kick. And Chobauer marking at his Mansfield. Told to play on, he goes right out wider here. And Jones has taken the mark for St Kevin's. So as quickly as Fisher got it out of the middle, the kick was all right, but chopped off. And now St Kevin's, through Jones, have a shot at goal at the Port Phillip Bay end of the ground.
He needs to aim this about the left post, I reckon, doesn't he?
Yeah. The breeze will just bring it right back. So he'll need to go out wide. He does that. The umpire goes right across and signals another minor score there to St Kevin's, taking them on to 2 behinds. 2 points, trailing Old Brighton on 1-2-8 for TLC Healthcare. 16 gone in this first term. And Travers, the only goal scorer for the game so far for Brighton.
Tweedy just kicks it into the middle of the ground, hoping for Fisher, who's done a superb job. The umpire, though, called play on, and there's a St Kevin's player down. Looks like Seaton, who was holding a knee momentarily. He's back to his feet in some discomfort, though, hands on the head. And hobbling away from where this contest is. The umpire just holding play momentarily and now chucks the ball up. Point of the centre square, St Kevin's in attack. It's Hill who gets a tumbling kick. And there's Travers again, who's been hot to start. Seagar's leaked forward for him. That's a well-weighted kick to the number 2 of Old Brighton, who is cleaned up as he marked by Hart. He'll take his time in getting up, Seagar. Now turns around. He hasn't got many options deep inside 50. So he'll hold up, though he has dragged the big man Angus Hart out beyond the arc of 50, so they should be fairly tall. Down there, Hope at the back of the contest, waiting for this. Snaps on the right, Jamie Hope. He is all class. And he hands out some high fives for the supporters behind the goals. No one was with Jamie Hope. He's got his 9th on the season, and Brighton has it second, 2-2-14, leading St Kevin's 2 behinds.
Tough contest by Tom Fisher on the half-back line to neutralise the ball, and then Tommy Jock dropped off Travers and allowed Travers to get an easy uncontested ball, and then inside 50, and Hope he knows where to go. He's going to run back towards the goals most of the time, and was a beneficiary of a nice easy goal in the end.
But the link in the chain there was Seagar. He just found that space and marked in front of Hart, and that was so easy for Brighton to move the ball forward like that.
It's a beautiful kick by Travers to find him.
So ball thrown in the air again. In the middle, Reamers. Both Felix and him got a hand onto that one. Now Cam Peely got a handball into Fisher. Kick off the boot, not far. Goes to Burnell. He's straight away wrapped up by Reamers, and we'll have a ball up in the centre of the ground. Just shy of the centre circle towards Brighton's end. That's the South Road end in this first term. Seagar has it from the tap. A kick, a wobbly one, smothered off the boot. Came back to everybody. Now getting a hand in that was Howden. A kick now, Karayanis has it. Looks for someone to give it to. Handball Flockhart. He goes out wider here to Fisher. It may run away from him. It will over the line out of play. 55 out from Brighton's goal. We'll have a ball in.
Around the grounds, thanks to the real stakes. Support your mates, not the stakes. It's Delar who are up by 10 points at Melbourne University Oval. Old Scotch have leapt to a 12-point lead at Camberwell Sports Ground over the Zavs. No score from Collegians and St Bernard's yet. That's Old Haileybury by 2 goals at Princess Park, Caulfield South.
5 outs. Karayanis fished away there by Andriski. Pryor overran it. Ball on the deck inside 45 for Brighton at the South Road end, and the umpire will come in and say, give it to me. 2-2-14 Old Brighton. St Kevin's 2 behinds, 2 points for TLC Healthcare, 19 gone in this first quarter.
So right beneath us, South Road end of the ground, Felix Flockhart took it out of the ruck, and he'll be wrapped up by a pair of tacklers. Seaton is back to his feet after an earlier knock, and Reimers, who will do battle with Flockhart. That's Felix in the ruck. It came out the back. Gregson to Benier, now to Seagar, Arca 45. Indiscriminate kick. It's Andriski of St Kevin's on the chest. He was better positioned on Karayanis. A quick switch from the man in the number 31. Wants Gunson left half back, finds him. What's Gunson got ahead of him? He hesitates. He's not quite sure. This is great ground defence by Old Brighton. I could have told you that before this game started. Instead, Gunson, though, will switch, and that's a better option to Richards. He's got space for Critchley, just ahead of the wing. Scoreboard end of the ground. The wind blowing to that end, the Port Phillip end. Critchley's going to get on his bike. He pushes it deep into the left forward pocket. It's a fly from Mansfield. Couldn't hold on. Travers did well. Found Campearly by hand, and now the Tunners the other way.
So he goes to Hope, and he takes the mark in front of Seater, but no one near that 45-metre arc for him, so he's had to hold it up a little bit. Now he goes in shorter here. Good lead by Ag. So they're leading well to the football here, Brighton. They're really showing St Kevin's a clean pair of footy boots in that respect. Ag wanted to get around, he couldn't. He goes to the pocket of Burnell, and he marks 47 metres out from goal. South Road end of the ground, on the South Road side of the ground. So Burnell's got it. Seagar pointing directions. He goes, or he went to go, he couldn't, and Angus Hart came in and took the mark. The ball held up in the breeze, so Angus has got it. In the last line of defence here for St Kevin's at the South Road end of the ground, they're yet to score a goal. Old Brighton have kicked 2. Bad kick off the boot. Benier was in the right spot. It just went away from him. Now charging through there. Gilbert, was it now? Hill. Handball came out, a loose one. Critchley's got it now here for St Kevin's if it sits for him. Good tackle by Dimatina. And he gets the free kick against Critchley. And Dimatina's got it. He's just come back onto the ground. He was on the bench momentarily. Goes inside the centre square. And still Brighton have possession. McNabb goes in shorter here. Sam Flockhart's got it. Centre of the ground. Seagar makes a lead. Now Hope he's got Hart in his way, so he has to go out wider here to Finn Campearly.
Not wasting possession here, Old Brighton. Content to chip it around before the entry comes. Here it is off the boot of Campearly, who played his 100th game for Old Brighton last week. Hope nearly came through and took a strong grab. He'll go again at ground level, Jamie. His kick was interrupted by a late tackle. Ag is there on the line. He didn't get foot to it. And he'll go through for a behind. That might have been Travers, actually, again, for a chance at his second.
St Kevin's just look like they've lost a bit of structure and shape in the front half.
Does feel that way as this kick from Tucker went to a contest where they all fell over. The umpires picked out a free kick going the way of Darcy Gilbert of the Tunners. 13-point leaders, Old Brighton, 2-3-15. St Kevin's 2 behinds. 22 minutes gone. Thanks to TLC Healthcare in this first quarter. Fisher took a kick on the bounce from 60 metres. Just kicked it straight to Sam Tucker inside defensive 50 for St Kevin's. He spreads it towards Duke, who's got Walters for company. Gregson got rid of Duke, and now Old Brighton might come through. No, Duke recovered nicely. Went after the footy, took the comment from Sam Flockhart at centre half back. And he'll force a stoppage here. Edge of the centre square, Old Brighton in attack.
So good harassing there by Brighton. They're making all their luck at the moment. And St Kevin's, well, they're just chasing. Into the middle again, Finn Campearly, Sam Flockhart to McNabb. Left foot kick goes to centre half forward, and Angus Hart takes the mark. He was behind Ag and marked it okay. Kick towards centre wing to Richard, or Darmody it is, who's come on the ground. He went up, he couldn't mark it. It fell here to Sam Flockhart, who gets it back in towards the centre wing area, and Hodges, he chops it off and takes the mark in front of Fisher. 23 gone in this first term. Brighton 2-3-15. St Kevin's 2 behinds, 2 points, and a bad kick by Hodges. Sees that over the line out of play. Centre wing, and Dimatina takes the free kick.
Around the grounds just quickly. St Bernard's out to a 20-point lead over Collegians, 27-7, but there's an outage, we believe, at the Harry Trott.
So Howden Sorry, Greg.
No, that's right, Petch. I was just going to say, when Hodgie had the ball, he looked up, he could just see, Darcy Gilbert and Max Benny are on their own, so he had to go wide, and that's why he ended up kicking it out in the foot.
Tucker palmed it down virtually to Carianis, who then gave a handball to Dimartino, and he kicked it straight to Seaton. He takes the mark, and St Kevin's again through Gunson go out to the outer side or straight up the middle.
It was a slips catch for Seaton, but it's not quite got out because Carianis has it at centre half forward. It was another interrupted exit from St Kevin's. Here's Dimartino, wades through traffic from the arc of 45, looks for Campeely. Gunson got there, spoiled it and collided with Campeely for good measure. Mansfield at left half back, kicks it wide for Gill. He's got Delamitru screaming for it, and he's in an acre, George Delamitru. Just needs to pick it up. Unmanned men inside 50. Barnett's one of those. Delamitru hit him.
And Kerr was the other one down there in the pocket. He led to the pocket. He thought he might have been a chance there, Kerr.
Delamitru opted for the number 12, Sam Barnett.
Here's a beautiful kick of the footy, Barnett. The distance won't be an issue here.
He's got a goal in every game so far this year, Sam Barnett. He had 4 goal assists from 15 disposals last week, so he's a connector. He likes to get on the end of them as well. He's going to kick from 40 metres out, slide angle. At the 25-minute mark, St Kevin's finally with a chance for their first goal of the afternoon. Sam Barnett salutes. They move to 1-2-8. Old Brighton 2-3-15. The lead cut to 7. 25 minutes gone, first term for TLC Healthcare.
Yeah, big turnover at half-back for Old Brighton, and two of the St Kevin's boys had pushed forward, so they had a 3-on-2 inside 50. So as soon as they won the ball out there on the wing, and they were always going to score. It's been a good contest, though. Nice and hard, nice and tough.
At the moment, though, as you can see from where we are, Greg, here, Brighton are making all the running. They're running into those spaces and the boys are picking it up and getting the ball to them. St Kevin's are really working hard, going down to the Port Phillip Bay end of the ground, back into the middle again, and Hill held on to, no free kick. Windsor ends up with it. High up and under kick just outside the square. Barnett underneath. Benier goes to the fisted punch. Waiting down McNabb. Now Barnett ended up with it. Another goal coming over his way. So McNabb palmed it down. Barnett was in the right spot, picked up the crumb, put it on the boot, and kicked his second goal of the afternoon. And St Kevin's, they go on to 2-2-14, trailing Brighton on 2-3-15 for TLC Healthcare. 26 gone in this first quarter.
Yeah, even numbers in the front half makes a difference, doesn't it? Good contested ball backward to centre, and just a quick kick forward, and all one-on-ones at the contest, and got free and hit the scoreboard again.
Took about 10 minutes for the first goal. We've had 4 in the next 16 minutes, so it's starting to even itself up a bit.
2 in a minute for Sammy Barnett on return to St Kevin's after a stint at Old Geelong. The last couple of years, here's Fisher of Old Brighton from the centre throw-up. Tumbles a kick towards half forward. It took a wicked bounce as far as Duke of St Kevin's was concerned. Here's Ag. He was dispossessed by Duke. Did well, the young fellow. Went to Richards. Tight roping the boundary. That kick will favour Benier, who's got a leap on him. Barnett brought it down. Benier's second effort was super. Got it to Montanaro along the interchange wing. His kick not much chop though. Centre wing, it was Hodges to Delamitru, now to Richards. He kicks inside the centre square, taken on the bounce by Critchley. He was dispossessed. Umpire said play on. Now Howden has to turn tackler. Walters with the footy for St Kevin's. His handball is no good. McNabb palms it on, and now they're out. Old Brighton. Hill. It's Howden in the chain. He got it from Campeely. This has been scrappy. Jones intercedes, and he's wrapped up.
Gee, terrific play, Brighton. They harassed them right out of that contest in St Kevin's, and then through the middle, 3 runners, then they lost it, unfortunately.
Attacking point of the centre square for Old Brighton. Felix Flockhart's kick was smothered. Walters is tackled. The umpire will come in and throw it up again. So 2-3-15 the Tunners, 2-2-14 the Scobbers, approaching 28 minutes gone in the first term.
So thrown up out of side of the ground, we'll have it again. Players holding on to Flockhart out there, and once again it'll be thrown in the air. Sam got it down, Felix got it down, and Hill nearly a throw. Got it to Felix Flockhart, kick inside the 45-metre arc. Ball eluded everyone bar Jock. From defence, he turns the ball up towards centre wing to Barnett, who's kicked 2 in a minute for St Kevin's, and sees the ball over the line out of play. Centre wing will have a ball in as the siren goes. First quarter going, 28 minutes for TLC Healthcare down here at the Brighton Beach Oval. And Old Brighton go in with a 1-point buffer. 2-3-15 leading St Kevin's on a 2-2-14.
We'll hear from Anthony Lynch after this break. It's Old Brighton by a point at Brighton Beach Oval.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
Quarter time at Brighton Beach Oval, 2-3-15 Old Brighton, 2-2-14 St Kevin's. It was the Tunners with the first 2 goals of the game, albeit it took till the 14-minute mark until Zach Travers put through his first goal in senior footy through. It was then Sam Barnett with 2 goals in a minute to turn things around for the visiting squad. And we have a 1-point contest here between these 2 magnificent football clubs. We'll go around the grounds briefly for the Real Stakes. Steeler Cellar leading at Melbourne Uni Oval 2-1-13 to the Blues 1-2-8. It's Old Scotch 4-4-28 to the Old Zavarians 1-2-8 at Camberwell Sports Ground. So the reigning premiers out by 20 points there. Over at Princess Park in Caulfield South, it's Old Haileybury 4 goals straight 24. University Blacks 2-4-16, so an 8-point lead for last year's Premier B premiers. And over at the Harry Trott, it's Collegians, our last score there, 1-1-7, St Bernard's 4-3-27. That's at the 23-minute mark of the first quarter. That game playing out on Community TV. Before we hear from Raj Johnston and Anthony Lynch out of the St Kevin's huddle, Greg Hutchison, your thoughts on the first term?
Well, Paddy, I've got some terrific news. I've got Peter Grant, who's 5 hours into a flight travelling to Tokyo. Of course, Peter Grant's a bit of a legend at Old Brighton. He said, keep up the good commentary, boys. You're doing a really good job. Make it a bit more entertaining, he said.
Fantastic
So, no, that's a good sign for the SEN listeners across it. It's fantastic. We'll be 5 hours into a plane. But a really good contest. Brighton, I reckon, will be a bit disappointed for the last 5 minutes to allow those two goals to Barnett. Controlled the game, I reckon, throughout most of the quarter. And to concede those 2 goals with 5 minutes to go, they'd be a bit disappointed.
They would be. I think they controlled it really well. They ran to space. They were running. They're through the middle. The handball was connecting. St Kevin's were just chasing. Yeah. And then they were really struggling to get some scores on the board. But Brighton did it so easy into a slight breeze. Wonder what they'll do in this second term going with it.
Our quarter-time huddle report coming up for you at Leaf, creative cross-functional experts in architecture. What you don't know, Hutch, is that I paid Granty a fair amount of money to text it into you to look after us.
Oh, well, it was money well spent.
I've got my sources. Hope you're enjoying your flight, mate. Don't fall asleep quite yet. This game looks like it will be a cracker. I'll be really interested to see how Brighton now go that they've got the wind advantage, albeit they gave away 2 late to Barnett. They were so good defensively. It does feel that, considering this breeze, I feel Hutch is probably a 2-3 goal advantage one, that they got the best of that first quarter. Yeah,
and interestingly, St Kevin's pushed some numbers. Their half-forwards came up to the contest a bit much and it allowed Brighton to have a couple of extras in defence. So they got caught out a little bit. And then when they did get the even numbers, they were able to have better contests inside 50. So it will be interesting to see which way they go with it here. Brighton don't usually use loose in defence at all. They're pretty happy playing one-on-one. So it'll be interesting to see what Marcel does in this quarter.
This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. Raj Johnston is not too far away. He'll have the coach Anthony Lynch of St Kevin's, who held his players for a bit longer than Marcel Bruin did his tonners during his quarter-time address. Let's go down now to Raj.
I'm joined by Anthony Lynch from St Kevin's. Anthony, how did you find the first quarter went for your boys?
The first 20 was a little was good. So yeah, no, they're glad that we responded because I think both teams can score into the wind, but I'm glad our last 10 we got back to doing what we wanted to do.
Barnett did well with 2 goals. What was the message at quarter time? How are you going to change things this quarter to get in front?
Well, just reminding them that we did what we planned to do for the last 10, so let's not have a lapse in concentration and make sure that we actually continue to execute what we planned.
Thanks to Raj Johnston and to Anthony Plugger Lynch for you at Leaf. Quarter-time huddle report, creative cross-functional experts in architecture. Not too far away from a start for this second term, all thanks to Lexus of Brighton, the relentless pursuit of perfection. The relentless pursuit of me being able to say the word relentless, Hutch and Petchy. What would your messaging be at quarter time, Hutch, if you were Anthony Lynch?
A little bit to hold our structure in front of the ball. Once you lose your structure in front of the ball, it just becomes too easy for the opposition. Been a good contest.
Simon Petch with the first bounce of the second term.
For Lexus, 15 playing 14. Old Brighton have the lead, kicking with a slight breeze in this second term, and Hodges gets the first kick of the second term, but chopped off by Montanaro, who then had to get rid of it quickly. Richards in the thick of it, threw it out really. Now Gill, handball back to Hodges, and Richards, the umpire says, give it to me. So first 20 seconds of this second term, and the ball is around 70 out from St Kevin's goal, attacking to the South Road end in this second term. Sam Flockhart tried along the ground, then he sat right on the back as he sort of came down gingerly. On Winter.
I've been to Warrnambool this week. It looked like Sammy Flockhart was trying to ride over the jump set away. Just jumped in the middle of his back.
So Winter's got it. He goes high with a kick. It sits up in the breeze, and Critchley, he was too far in front. Fished away Benier. Now a chance. A kick towards half. Full forward. Will it go through? No, it won't. That was from Mansfield, and we'll have the ball kicked back in. First score's a minor one. Scores a level for Lexus. We've gone a minute into this second term. 2-3-15 apiece.
Tweedy was playing with fire. He was dodging tacklers as he kicked out towards left half back, and it was picked off by Tucker, who wants to go central to Andriski. He's got to run a screaming pass in Seaton. Gets inside one. Karayanis got him! Michael Karayanis, the cult hero.
He's a bit lucky there, Carey. Let his man get goal side pretty quick, and he had to make that tackle, otherwise he would have been in a world of pain. Someone's hit the deck out there too. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, we'll get back to that for Author Sport Victoria in just a second as St Kevin's through Duke cut it off at half back. Karayanis turning 33 later on in this month, but his age hasn't limited his pace at all. It was prior Hutch who went down, but he's back to his feet and jogging somewhat gingerly, it must be said, on the far side of the ground. Here's St Kevin's at right half back. It's a low kick down the wing. Falling over, it looked like it was Darmody. He's going to go after it at ground level. Jock was ridden into the ground, but the umpire said, I'll ball it up. So true centre wing, playground side of this Brighton Beach Oval. Scores are level 2-3-15 apiece, Simon Petch.
So thrown in the air, out of sight of the ground, and McNabb went to go in and tackle. Mansfield goes to ground for St Kevin's. Felix Flockhart over the top of him. About to be thrown in the air again. Identical position. Reamers won that one down. Going through Mansfield. Burnell got in his way, but now Ferguson picked it up beautifully. A wobbly kick though. Goes towards centre wing and Critchley. Now Gunson has to work with Critchley to try and get it out, but Benier got in the way. He tried to get a handball out. He did to Campbell, who got it back into Seagar, who goes to McNabb, and Brighton go forward. Through the middle of the ground, hit a Pryor, and he takes the mark before Seaton can get there. Centre of the ground of Brighton, he goes to centre half forward. Bounced off Hope, ends up with Seagar. Now Karayanis has got it. He knows where the goals are, but he kicks it off the side of his boot out towards the pocket. And Campbell sees it over.
Too unselfish by half for our man Kara.
Yeah, Kara should have nailed it, shouldn't he?
Should have.
On the left foot, just kick a goal.
He looked for someone, but someone wasn't there. About to be thrown back in. Out of sight of the ground. in the forward pocket for Brighton, thrown back in. Hart got it down, Jock roved it well. Got a high kick up and under. It goes to Reimers and Sam Flockhart. Benny Eyre at the back. Critchley now. Ferguson again went through, then went without it. Sam Flockhart a handball. Linda, who got it back here to McNabb, who gets a kick, a wobbly one, but Winter gets in the way and he takes the mark for St Kevin's.
So it's interesting, Hutch. Both teams against the wind have started at their respective quarters well. Here's Jock to Mansfield. He'll get it back. Tommy Jock, the handball was at his ankles and goes out of play. Centre wing, playground side.
Yeah, look, it's really good to see Tom Ferguson. I think it is just a young player in his probably first season of senior footy, really making an impact. And it's a really good thing for the competition. You get young players coming up for the under-19s and they're making an impact, as Ferguson is today.
The 21-year-old, he's been super through the St Kevin's APS program. Here's Hodges, edge of the centre square. That ball rolled on. McNabb was after it. Here is your man Ferguson. He's tackled strongly but retained possession of the footy, handballed it to Hodges, who went inside 50. Benny Eyre floating. A contested grab on Critchley. He tipped it to his own advantage and grabbed it on the second attempt. Now Old Brighton, McNabb got it from Linda. And Luca looking to the inside. He's called to play on now. Goes down the interchange wing as a train goes past here at Brighton Beach Oval. Be careful where you kick the footy. It's St Kevin's with it though. Here's Mansfield. 2 kicks from goal. He's just going to go an up and under towards us, right on the boundary line. Gill will try and keep it in. It'll be fisted clear of him, off hands and out of play from Lowen. So it'll be thrown in directly beneath us, 50 metres from the St Kevin's goal. Score's still tied here at Brighton Beach Oval, 15 apiece. 5-minute mark, all thanks to Lexus of Brighton.
So 55 out from St Kevin's goal. Good throw in by the boundary umpire. Got the distance there. Reimers palmed down. Then they lost it. Oh, gee. Kick towards centre wing. Oh, Pryor read it well. Got a kick around the body. Back towards centre wing. High tackle Hodges. Yes, he gets the free kick as he attacked the football there with Burnell. So Cam Hodges has the footy for St Kevin's. A runner past. And Jones goes forward with a kick. Critchley, he couldn't hold on to that. It was a bit low for him. Now it fell down here to Travers. Handballs are plenty. Burnell, left foot kick, ungainly, goes towards Pryor, pushed out of the way easily by Seaton, and he takes the mark for St Kevin's. Kick towards centre wing, out of sight of the ground, and Seagar. Handball here to Finn Campili, who goes back into Pryor. Got around Seaton, and Campili kept running for him. Left foot kick into goal. He's kicked it. So Campili kicks that goal. He kept running. Seaton had it there for St Kevin's, but well done. Finn Campili kicks their third goal of the afternoon. They go on to 3-3-21. Leading St Kevin's on 2-3-15 for Lexus. 6 gone in this second quarter.
Fantastic contest out on the wing by Finn. It was, if he wins it, Brighton kick a goal. If the St Kevin's fella wins it, then they kick a goal. It was a really good contest by Finn.
And that's what it's all about, contesting the football, and Campili did it well after a mistake there by Anthony Seaton.
Around the grounds, thanks to the real stakes, Old Scotch now out to a 20-point lead at Camberwell Sports Ground against the Odds Variants, 34-14. So the reigning premier's doing it nicely at home. Back to the middle here at Brighton Beach Oval. Sam Flockhart against Reimers. Seagar palmed it on. Sam Flockhart recovered. He tapped it onwards, got past Duke. He's still going, Big Sam. Jock's now with him. He's tackled off the footy. Flockhart's there again. He won't give up. His handball was looking for Burnell. It's St Kevin's through Walters, who now have the footy. Walters ducked a pair of tunners. His kick was interrupted as it went towards Ferguson. Taken by Hill at centre half forward. Beautifully weighted kick. He was looking for hope. He couldn't hold on to the grab. And he'll be happy to see it out of bounds. Will the Old Brighton number 7 deep inside there, forward 50, right forward pocket. Nice effort there from Sam Flockhart, Greg.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? And interesting, he's rucked and Felix has been deep forward for the 7 minutes that we've been playing so far. Really athletic player, Sam.
He's now tucked himself down past the wing on Reimers. Felix Flockhart to take the ruck duties here. There's one down by Tucker. Jock to Hodges. Left half back for St Kevin's. Great tackle by Gregson on Hodges.
Tackle.
Ball and all brought him down. The umpire will ball it up. 55 metres out from the Old Brighton goal. They lead by a kick. Pretty tight and contested game of footy. Pretty tight and contested quarter of footy. Reimers won it down in his bootlaces. Walters does the tackling this time. We're going nowhere, Simon Petch. You have a go.
So just in front of the scoreboard, Port Phillip Bay side of the ground, thrown in the air again. Reimers out the side this time, swooping close to the boundary line. Hill, handball, got it back to Montanaro, who goes high up and under with a kick. Eyes only for the footy Travers, but Walters sees it over and will have a ball in. So it hasn't gone too far. For Lexus, 8.5 gone in this second quarter. Old Brighton 3-3-21, St Kevin's 2-3-15. Port Phillip Bay side of the ground, about 60 out from Brighton's goal, attacking to the cricket nets in this second term, and Hodges again held up there by Hill. And we'll have it all again. So it hasn't moved anywhere. Plenty of contesting going on. Ag in the ruck this time, got it down, but once again the umpire says give it to me.
Yeah, they just didn't get that right. Felix should have come up to the contest when they made the change, and Ryan should have been able to roll back behind it. So you're not an ideal ruckman there, Ryan, but now Felix is up into it.
That he is. He's got Reamers for company. Hill has it. Puts it deep inside 50, looking for hope. Or is it Travers again? It is Travers. So Zach Travers, usually a midfielder on the under-19s, has gone as a small forward today. 1 goal already, and he's presented nicely, Hutch.
Yeah, he has. He's been really good.
Wasting no time as well. So the intersection of the 45-metre arc and the boundary line. Travers crosses that now. It's a tough kick. He puts it into the wind. He's not hit that one like he would have desired, I reckon. Out of bounds on the full.
Gee whiz, you'd reckon for an Old Brighton player that's played here a bit, he'd have a better dash at that one, wouldn't he? He just gave it no chance at all. Just kick the ball into the front of the goal square. It's going to blow through.
That was the old Mitchell Stark in-swinger right near the cricket nets, unfortunately, for Travers. But he'll learn from that one, so no score. St Kevin's from the last line now. Left back pocket. Trailing by a kick, low-scoring game of footy. 3-3-21 Old Brighton, 2-3-15 St Kevin's. Dimatina and Fisher in the air for the Tunners, both of which are happy to punch that ball out of play, 55 metres out from goal. We'll go briefly around the grounds for the real stakes and over to the Harry Trot, where Collegians are 3-3-21 St Bernard's 6-3-39. It's the Snow Dogs by 18. Matt Watson, Southern Petch, has 3 early goals.
Still stuck in this area of just in front of the scoreboard. Players just can't get it out of here. Walters, handball, stolen by Dimatina. A wobbly kick to full forward. It was touched and it was just flicked through for a minor score. Had it have not touched hands, it may have gone through. But Tucker's hands touched and a minor score to Brighton. 3-4-22. St Kevin's 2-3-15 for Lexus. 11 played in this second term. That's nearly out of bounds. Critchley just got a hand onto it before it did, as it was kicked back in, and we'll have again a ball in. Port Phillip base of the ground group.
Yeah, Petch, it's been really hard for St Kevin's to get the ball forward of the wing and inside their 50. It's been played between the almost the Brighton forward 50 in the wing for about 5 minutes.
Sure has, and that's all where we've been looking for that time. McNabb stripped. Gregson goes in, still holding on to it. Umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. So we've had 1 kick to full forward. Now we're back virtually whence it all began for the last 5 minutes. Hill, Fisher stripped of it, goes in after it again. Kick didn't go anywhere. Richards was there. Now Winter tried to get the handball out. Going nowhere again, and we will have another ball up.
They're going to be tired midfielders by the end of today, and the umpire's left arm will be getting sore at this point. The amount of time he has been throwing this one in the air. Mansfield out the back of the contest. Finally some space with Ferguson, who did not hit the kick well at all.
It was a beautiful kick. It was a magnificent
kick. He laces out the laced out Finn Campili. The only issue is that he plays for Old Brighton. He went to Howden. Kick on the bounce to Fisher. Having not much chance at all. Now Fisher will get it back by hand this time. Just sits up the kick towards centre-half forward. That's better. Seagar takes the mark. Came storming up at it. And at 55 metres out, Greg Hutchison, I reckon he might back his distance here.
Yeah, he's a beautiful kick. He'll get the distance. I reckon if he just goes left-hand goalpost, he'll kick a goal here. Lovely kick, lovely talented player. Tommy Jock just dropped off him a bit and he was able to get a bit of space, and that's why he was able to get the uncontested mark.
I hear he was wearing a GPS last week, Geordie Seagar. Clocked up 15 Ks. He'll run all day. Let's see if he can do it from the point or the edge of the centre square. No dice. That one is well right through for a behind. 3-5-23, 2-3-15. It's Old Brighton by 8 points. Or thanks to Alexis of Brighton.
It's just staggering sometimes. He's a beautiful kick. You know, he'd kick that 10 out of 10 times at training.
And it stayed straight. There's a flagpole across the road. It's not really fluttering too much at the moment. So really, I don't really think kicking to that end, the breeze really is a factor, as they see it over in front of the scoreboard again, and Richards does that. Just swirling around. 23 playing 15. Brighton have the lead here at home. 13 gone in this second term for Lexus. And the ball on the Port Phillip Bay side of the ground about to be thrown back in again. Holds up in the breeze. Players had to wait and time their run. Jones handball, not a real good one. Howden up and under, kick to full forward. Fist away, down to ground level. Ag was there. Carry and a swoop. He goes into goal and misses everything. So another missed opportunity going Brighton's way. 23 playing 15. Brighton have the lead. 13 and a half gone second term for Lexus of Brighton down here at the Brighton Beach Oval.
You can see them all, Hutch, setting up beneath the scoreboard side. No prizes for guessing where this footy is going. And there it does go towards Felix Flockhart and Cal Jones, where it's fisted out of play again beneath the scoreboard, which is where this football has lived for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, they haven't had it down our end much, have they?
No, it's just been in that little pocket.
The real stakes around the grounds, Old Scotch by 14 points. St Bernard's have a 5-point lead at the Harry Trott. 21-point leaders Old Haileybury over the University Blacks, and Steelar by 9 points over the Blues. Those games currently going on around the competition in top flight. Here's a kick inside. 50, Andriski did well to get a fist to it. Burley was coming back with the flight as well for St Kevin's.
Gee, the way it's looking, 10 goals will win the game here, Greg. The way it's looking, it's really low scoring.
Yeah, Brighton have had a lot of opportunities, haven't they?
Yeah.
And it's just been in their front half all the time. They just haven't been able to make the most of the opportunities.
8 shots to 5.
We haven't seen a lot of space in this game of footy. It's been an interesting defensive tussle, but not many highlights in this one so far. St Kevin's clear defensive zone momentarily. Gilbert chops it off for Old Brighton. Heads up ahead of the footy. There's not much space inside 45, so he kicks it into the pocket instead, hoping for Seagar. Or failing that, Pryor.
That was good.
Pryor on the second attempt marks. 45 metres out from goal, 45-degree angle, left half forward.
He would have seen Seagar coming in his periphery and thought, no, I'll still go here. And then Seagar probably thought, I better not go any further.
He's another beautiful kick of the footy, Hutch, and he would be drilling these at training, I think, routinely. Here is Ben Pryor. A few rippers in this season already. 5 in 2025 for Ben. That's a low kick. It won't get the distance. It falls a couple of metres short. There is something in the water for today's game. We're still stuck at 3-5-23 to 2-3-15. All thanks to Lexus of Brighton. Old Brighton by 8 points. Not much happening. Al Richards with the footy.
And the St Kevin's backman in the goal square all on his lonesome. Here's Hodges for St Kevin's. They go forward. Not a real good kick to a teammate. Now it ends up here with Gilbert, who has the handball hit to Sam Flockhart, who goes out wide to Campbell, and he takes the mark South Road side of the ground, just outside defensive 45 for Brighton. 23 playing 15. Brighton have the lead. 16 gone in this second term for Lexus, and Campbell comes back inside to McNabb. He takes the mark and stays out of sight of the ground. Goes up to Sam Flockhart, who marks in front of Seaton. Heard the call, Dimartina, didn't give the handball, so Sam Flockhart still got it out of sight of the ground. Holds it for an eternity, then goes in shorter here to Burnell, and he marks. So Burnell's got it, centre wing, out of sight of the ground. He'll kick to a pack virtually because they're all lining up. There they go, and at the back was a Hart, couldn't hold on to it. Ball fell to ground, and we'll have a ball up.
Quickly, Petchy for Autosport Victoria. Darcy Gilbert coming off and just looking a touch proppy there, Greg Hutchison. We might send our man Raj Johnston to investigate.
So Ag goes up against Hart in the ruck. Ball fell to ground. Howden there. Now Travers trying to get the handball out. Couldn't do so. We'll have a ball up.
Yeah, it looked like he might have just got caught on the back of his Achilles and just come off for a bit of treatment.
Hoping he's okay. We love to see Darcy Gilbert in full flight. We'll get a successive ball up here as Hart and Ag wrestle over it. 35 metres out from the Old Brighton goal. They lead by 8 points. 17 and a half gone in the second term thanks to Lexus of Brighton. Winter at ground level. Burnell just picked it up. Tumbles it towards goal. It's right. Misses to the far side. A flying shot by Tom.
1-3 to Brighton in this second term. 1 goal, 3 down to the cricket net's end of the ground.
So Jock from fullback. His side down by 9 points. And again goes to this scoreboard side of the ground. That is not a great kick from Tommy Jock. It sails over the hands of Gunson and out of bounds on the full.
That
Harry
was a
Hill.
rocket.
Harry Hill has the footy beneath the scoreboard, 60 metres from goal. It's a packed forward 50. He's kicked it on Jock's head again. It's marked behind the play by Angus Hart of St Kevin's. So for all the territory Old Brighton have had, St Kevin's defence has been superb. And Petch, wouldn't you know it, they're going towards this scoreboard wing again, and Liam Gunson.
Close.
He marks it on the boundary line this
Just
time.
in front of the scoreboard. 9 shots to 5. Brighton lead in that area, and they also lead on the scoreboard as Andriski goes all the way back to Hart to try to open the door for them on the outer side of the ground to Seaton. Still inside defensive 45. He looks up the ground, goes to centre wing to Richards, and he marks. He just works both sides of the ground, Al. He's everywhere. He gets a possession. He gets a kick towards Gunson. He takes the mark. He could have gone. He did, and he heard the call inside from Mansfield. Handball Barnett. Another handball back towards Gill, who gets a kick around the body. But Tweedy chops it off here for Brighton in the last line of defence.
It was a good bit of play by St Kevin's. They got the ball on the right side of the ground. The top side of the ground is where they need to be. And the same with Brighton. He's come to the beach side of the road, the ground again, and it's just so darn hard to score from this side of the ground.
So on the Port Phillip Bay side, it's Seagar who took the mark. He's right beneath us at right half back. Along the interchange wing, he was looking for Fisher, who was on a lead ahead of Winter. The ball skips away from him, and this poor boundary umpire, Simon Petch, has had about 14 throw-ins in the last 10 minutes. Here's a chance for his 15th.
Certainly earning their keep today, whatever that may be.
The length and height from the boundary up here has been impressive under supreme pressure.
Yep, that's a good ball in.
That's another cracking throw in. He gets it all the way to Reimers and Flockhart on the edge of the centre square. Hodges takes it away for St Kevin's. Barnett's got Walters. Hits him now. Walters at 50 metres. Kicks towards Delamitru in the square. Back with the fight. Lowen spoiled it. Jones, they can raffle it. Gave it to Delamitru. Got it smothered by Max Lowen. Now Harry Hill's on the scene. What an effort from the Old Brighton defence. Hill's still got a battle for it in the left back pocket. They work it out through Benier and now McNabb. That was superb from Maxi Lowen.
He gets it back into the middle of the ground, centre wing. Look at Gregson go, but the ball bounced the other way to Winter. Great tackle, Gregson. Ball Winter to ground. And what a great defensive air workload there by Brighton.
Yeah, Maxi Lowen did really well. They really should have converted St Kevin's, and for all the dominance that Brighton have had, St Kevin's have only got to get one in the next 3 or 4 minutes, and the game's even again.
Well, as we saw in the first term, Barnett 2 goals in a minute, and it brought the game back, and deliberate out of bounds here, and Tweedy ends up with it here for Brighton in front of us. Goes straight up the ground, straight up centre wing. No mark taken. Brought back here to Barnett. Oh, it bounced off his chest and hit him that hard. McNabb ended up with it to Benier. Handball hit to Burnell. Brighton defence work at it again. A kick back towards centre wing, close to the boundary line. Seen over. Fisted over by Ag, really. And we'll have a ball in.
On the railway side again, Petchy.
Yes, that's where it's always been here for Brighton. They're happy with it there. St Kevin's want to get it away from there.
1 goal quarter at the moment. Not sure who'd be happy with the way this game is playing out. Brighton or St Kevin's. It's a low scorer. We know the offensive firepower of both these teams. Simon Petch's. Reimers wins it down at his bootlaces. Gunson receives the handball and gets the clearance. Kicks towards the arc of 45. Montanaro is well positioned. Jones paddles it on. Critchley is there. Montanaro didn't take it cleanly. Does take Critchley cleanly though. Brings him down.
Yeah, good second effort there.
Yep.
Yeah, needed to do that.
Yep.
Important
It's
tackle.
just opened up a little bit for St Kevin's, hasn't it?
Yep.
Jones is Flockhart, who's not going to make this ruck contest. Got it down to Hodges, who wants Barnett by hand. He has got Linda all over him. It affected his handball. Campili tackled off it by Richards. McNabb, Luca of Old Brighton clears defensive 45. Burley didn't take the mark. Seaton picked it up. Gave it to Walters. Dimartina's on his hammer. Walters breaks through. He was clipped high, says the umpire.
Yeah, Kai was trying to get a grab on him, but he just... Walters just kept ducking down underneath. And he gets the free kick. Centre wing. He goes long. Down towards the pocket. Critchley, eyes only. Pushed out by Tweedy. Fell here to Sam Flockhart, and we'll have a ball up. So Tweedy coming behind Critchley. Forced him out of the contest. Inside 45. St Kevin's end commentary side. Reimers. Oh, he palmed it beautifully to Dimartina. Beautiful kick to Sam Flockhart. And Brighton have no one forward. Now he's got to kick it long. Because racing down there is Seagar. He should mark, no, but drifted away from him. Towards the boundary line, and we'll have a ball in.
Poor old Tommy Jock, he was really struggling to go with Geordie Seager, and he's probably pretty happy that it's gone out of bounds, I reckon.
24 playing 15. Brighton have the lead. 23 gone in this second term for Lexus. 9 shots to 5 in this second term. And inside the 45-metre arc here for Brighton, the ball thrown back in, Hart in front, fisted back towards the boundary line, bounced on its point and stayed in. Pryor tried to keep it in, he couldn't. We'll have another ball in.
Around the grounds for the real stakes, it's Dealer by 11 points at Melbourne University Oval over the Blues. Old Scotch have a 13-point lead over the Old Zaverians at Camberwell Sports Ground. It's Collegians by 1 straight kick over St Bernard's, 53-47 at the Harry Trott. Old Haileybury out by 32 points over the University Blacks at home. The Premier B Premiers, coached by Daniel Ward. Here's Felix Flockhart, won it down at his feet where Walters has been living today. He's brought down by Tom Fisher. So it's been an interesting midfield battle. Really neither group on top. It's Old Brighton who come in with the likes of Fisher and Hill, who are highly respected across this competition, but the likes of Liam Walters have held up okay. It's Walters who finds Darmody along the wing. Broadcast side, nice kick on the skip to Barnett. Though Linda, he was cleaner. Barnett fumbled at the critical opportunity. Jocks on the scene though, tried to rake through. Linda brought him down. Umpire calls a ball up. That won't be popular.
There was Ilya Kodanger there, but the Brighton player just pulled his arm back.
Didn't he?
Neutral territory, broadcast side wing. Gunson has it, Dimatina has him. We're just inside the centre square. 60 metres from the St Kevin's goal.
That would have kept going.
Yeah, they just haven't been able to get in the outside run, Brighton. Their contest has been good, but they just haven't had the run that they would like to get.
Here's Ferguson, a handball. Look for Gunson, chopped off McNabb, and it goes over. As the 2.56 from Sandringham just whistles past us.
And Jockey goes off for a well-deserved rest as well.
So boundary umpire to throw the ball back in. About 60 out from St Kevin's goal. Thrown back in, Felix Flockhart, a fist towards Seagar. Roved it beautifully, got away there from Duke. A handball along the ground. He kept it alive for himself. But then it dribbled out and will have a ball in.
It was super from Xavier Duke in his first game to keep with Geordie Seagar, to first corral him and then force the ball out of play.
Yep.
So we know exactly how quick Geordie Seagar is. His 51st game of senior footy today, Geordie. So neutral territory. Felix Flockhart got blocked by Al Richards by the looks of things. The boundary throw was a touch off target. Richards pleading his case. You rarely see an umpire change their mind.
Well, you'll never see it.
No.
Well, you did in the AFL the other night, actually. Here's Felix Flockhart. He goes inside 50 to the hot spot. He's just picked out Andriski there, who took it uncontested above his head and then goes to the spreading Dimitru, right half back. The ball has barely gone to this playground wing all day long. And now Dimitru will get 50 for his trouble. Just one given away. He is sprinting as fast as he can, George. He plays on before he ran his full measure. The kick was aimed towards Darmody. It wasn't a drop punt. It was some sort of tumbling thing, and it goes out of play. And that Simon Petch and Greg Hutchison sums up this second quarter.
Got a bit excited, didn't he?
Well, did he what? And then he got that excited. The kick was virtually off the side of the boot and gave Darmody no hope. Deary me. He got 50. Take your time. Thrown back in. Jones over the back. Ferguson nearly roved it. Lidda goes in, got it along the ground now. Finn Campili has it at half-back, chopped off by Richards, and will have a ball in out of side.
Energetic player, Al Richards. He's in everything. His second efforts is really good. He gets at the contest, then missed it, and then got back able to intercept the ball there and push it out of bounds.
Works both sides of the ground. Thrown back in, Jones and Felix Flockhart. Well, Felix used his body well. Put it on the boot, goes to centre half forward with a kick. Over Hart's head. Sam Flockhart's there. Who wins the race? Close to the goals. And Angus. He saw it over. And another minor score to Brighton. 3-7-25 to St Kevin's 2-3-15. 10 points the margin. It feels as though it's 10 goals, but it's only 10 points and we've gone 27.5 in this second term for Lexus.
27.5 minutes with one goal, that going to Finn Campili, the 14-minute mark. St Kevin's a kick. Darmody's got 2 to beat in the air. Did a pretty good job, did Jack. The ball carried the pack. Gill got it to Ferguson, who's out. Nice looking kick on the skip to Kerr, who's got Gilbert riding shotgun. He's back out there. Darcy did so well. Then got the handball in the Montanaro direction. He's not clean initially. Did pick up the ball, turned it over by hand though. Dimitru will go inside 45. It's not a great kick. He had Barnett leading. He had Gunson all by himself. He picked out Burnell instead.
Foot skills have let St Kevin's down the last few minutes, that's for sure.
Jamie Hope, he takes the footy. Broadcast wing, Karianis and Howden were both free, but it was belted out of play by Angus Hart, who has had a really impressive first half of footy, has Big Angus. He's had his hands full with a few mobile Brighton tools, but he's held well. 10-point lead to Old Brighton, 28-minute mark of the second term for Lexus of Brighton. Here's this poor old boundary umpire who hurls it back into play. Gunson's with it, Dimatina's now with him. It'll be another stoppage.
They've had a flow of the game, St Kevin's, in the last 5 or 6 minutes, and they've been a bit unlucky not to score. So Brighton have done well to hang on here. St Kevin's have got it on their terms a bit.
So it's like their foot skills have let them down too. Here's St Kevin's. Here's Gregson around the body. That was blind towards the boundary line. Ag sees it over in front of the scoreboard. 3-7-25 Brighton, 2-3-15 St Kevin's. 29 minutes gone in this second term. Only 5 goals for the game so far on a ground that is magnificent and conditions that are really good. And we've only had 5 goals scored so far. Felix Flockhart got it down to Gregson. He couldn't continue on the good work. McNabb met there solidly by St Kevin's. Now Winter tries to work it out. They get it to Ferguson. A kick off the boot goes backwards virtually. Players just having trouble picking up. Goes to Howden, who got it to Andriski. But it's gone over the boundary line out of play. We'll have a ball in. First quarter went 28 minutes. This has gone 29 and a half. I would say that the halftime siren isn't that far away. Boundary umpire throws it in inside the 45-metre arc here for Brighton. Thrown back in. Jones palms it down. And Duke also brought to ground in a tackle. And again, inside 45, another ball in the air. Umpire does just that. Felix Flockhart palms it down. Hope went to go. Then he saw St Kevin's man coming at him in Gill. And he's given away a free kick, Jamie, as Gill went in and received a high tackle. So Gill here for St Kevin's. Close to the boundary line. Darmody got a hand onto it and the umpire will ball it in.
When the Premier Data stats come out for this game for disposals, I think it'll be the boundary umpires on this train line wing that are going to dominate. They've had a stack of it this quarter. It has lived beneath us. Broadcast side, 1 goal quarter so far. Cal Jones, by hand, he moved it backwards. Richards got through a couple, went for Gill. He's pushed over the line by Benny Eyre.
He didn't know what to do, Benny Eyre. He just saw Gill there and thought, I'll just fall on you. I won't give away a free kick by doing it.
It was a very careful fall by Max, though. Did well not to give away. There is a lot of Max Benny Eyre. He's a tall man. Did well not to give away a free kick. Felix Flockhart grapples with Jones, and the siren sounds on a one goal second quarter. It was Finn Campeoli, the 6-minute mark, or 16-minute mark rather, who kicked the first of the quarter. And from that, it was a 6-minute mark, pardon me, and then from that point onwards we've had pretty much nothing but points. It's 3-7-25 Old Brighton, 2-3-15 St Kevin's. 10-point leaders, the Tunners, the minor premiers of last year, in a wind-affected game at the Brighton Beach Oval. We've got a pair of interviews coming up in our halftime show, all thanks to Lighting Options. Old Brighton President Tom Clark and St Kevin's President Paddy Mount will join us on the other side of this.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Half-time at Brighton Beach Oval. It's the Tunners 3-7-25 leading St Kevin's 2-3-15. Yes, they are half-time scores. It's been a defensive contest. It's been a grapple with the wind. The goal scorers, Travers on debut, Hope and Cam Peely all with singles for the Tunners. Sam Barnett with 2 that he kicked across the course of 1 minute late in the first quarter. Aside from that, it's been a pretty dour contest. At times, 1 goal only in that second term. If we go around the grounds, all thanks to the Real Stakes, it's Old Haileybury 10-2-62 leading the University Blacks 3-5-23 at Princess Park. It's Collegians 8-6-54 by a point over St Bernard's 8-5-53 at the Harry Trott. Scores level at Camberwell Sports Ground, 6-5-41 Old Scotch, 6-5-41 the Old Zavarians, and at the Melbourne University Oval, it's De La Salle with a 4-point lead, 3-3-21 over the Blues, 2-5-17. 10-point leaders, Old Brighton at Brighton Beach Oval. We've got a pair of presidents up in the commentary box. Tom Clark from Old Brighton and Paddy Mount from St Kevin's. Good enough to join us for our halftime show, all thanks to Lighting Options, providing lighting solutions across Greater Melbourne, Mornington, Geelong and the Surf Coast. Old Brighton captain Harry Hill's family business. Tom Clark, hello to you.
Paddy, how are you? Thanks for having me, mate.
Thanks for joining us. How's today played out for your footy club? It's been an interesting contest as far as goal scoring is concerned, but it's been good to see 2 squads who are pretty intent on doing what they want to do so effectively.
Yeah, definitely. I think every time that Old Brighton and Scob meet each other, it's this sort of game that we get. A really tough physical contest, really tough, really challenging to score, but really high quality football, and that's what we've had for the first half.
Zach Travers was the first goal scorer of the day, making his debut. He's got 2 older brothers, I believe, at the club as well. Great story for him and his family.
Yeah, definitely. The Travers, they're a great Old Brighton family, and Zach's got a lot of talent, and so to be able to crack into the side, a pretty strong side as a guy that's in his first year since leaving the school is a credit to him, and it's good to see him get on the board early.
Now, one thing I wanted to mention is last week we had the under-19s game, which was called off earlier in the contest because of a horrific broken leg. And one thing I loved is that both clubs were so sporting and acknowledging that game could not continue and the welfare was with the player. How is that player doing now? And I suppose I'll ask you this question as well, Paddy. How was that handled, I suppose, considering what we've seen with some serious injuries over the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, Maxi Lorden, great young player for us in our under-19s. Unfortunately, just had one of those footballing accidents where he went to kick the ball and he had a pretty horrific break of his tibia and fibula. And ambulance assistance was required. And I just wanted to, echo some sentiments of the whole of our club and thanking St Kevin's for the care that they showed Maxi and made sure that they prioritised his health. Abandoned the game. Obviously there was more important things on the day. It's just we've had a lot of experiences with Scob and built a really good relationship, and that just certainly continued last week. So thanks a lot, Paddy, for everything that you guys did for us.
No, I spoke with our coach, Paul Greenham, and he was the one that really instigated that and basically said, I couldn't care less about the result. I'm just focused on the player welfare. And and credit to Old Brighton, they actually wrote to the VAFA and asked if the game could be deemed a draw.
And Jason Reddick was really understanding of the circumstances and very respectful of the sportsmanship displayed, but just said, look, unfortunately the rules are the rules. And I just said to our guys, look, it's one of those ones where the 4 points or 2 points may not have come our way, but I think it's important we did the right thing and acted in the best interests of the player.
Similarly on that as well, with the 19s, that game decided by 6 points, and just like the seniors, we've now had 3 games in a row all decided by under a goal. So the rivalry of those close contested games has spread throughout our senior and under 19s groups.
Yeah.
Close contested games, you mentioned this earlier, are a theme of senior contests between you two. Of your last 5 contests, in Kevin's versus Old Brighton, they've all been decided by 7 points or less. So you're constantly at the top end of the competition. What's kept you up there?
Well, I think we've got the club's in a really strong position at the moment. We've got some great leaders in our playing group. You know, Harry Hill and Tom Fisher and Tommy Yorgi and those boys, Michael Carianis, that have been at the club for a long time. But we're also a great benefactor of the high quality program that the school has. Every year we get great footballers, but also just really high quality young men coming to our football club. And the senior guys have done a really good job at integrating them into the group. And I think just that camaraderie and that love of playing together and getting to know the older guys has meant that it's a really enjoyable place to play football, and that's translated into some solid performances on field as well.
Paddy Mount, we mentioned about Brighton's debutant Zach Travers. You've got one as well today, young Xavier Duke, who looks really handy in the number 29, might I add, off the half-back line. Tell us a bit about him.
Yeah, great kid, Dukey. Had some really good footy in our under-19s the last couple of years when we've had back-to-back grand final appearances. And then when we had an injury pre-season to Noah Walsh, who was a new recruit, but Noah was looking really strong to lock in a half-back spot right from the get-go. And when Noah went down, unfortunately, with a knee injury, guys like Dukey were told by Plugger that, mate, there's a spot there for you if you work hard enough. And he's a great kid, quietly spoken, but goes about his footy in a really good, disciplined manner. And, really excited to see him get his chance today.
So the year for you guys, we've seen you a fair bit, obviously. I think it's our third game together to start the year. You guys, again, super last year, really close, didn't quite work out for you in finals. Obviously, the whole situation with Michael Pisker at the back end, your club handled that so well. We've spoken about that before in these kind of interviews at half-time. How's it played out for you over this pre-season where you've been able to, I suppose, thankfully focus on your footballing process and putting some additions back into your footy club?
Yeah, there's some new blood. I mean, it's obviously you want to keep turning the list over and try some new faces, and to see a young lad like Tom Ferguson come in, he's a St Kevin's boy but had a couple of years up at Bond University, and he comes back in this year. He's also got some alignment with Richmond VFL. Kid like George Delamitru, who was our under-19 captain last year and best on ground in a losing team in that grand final, had a taste of senior footy last year, but this is the chance now for George to really cement his spot. And Xavier Duke as well. Even a young guy like Tom Burley, who'd played a couple of games, but really getting a good run at it this year. So there's some new blood coming in, but we've got the likes of Billy Coates still to come back in. Jack Marnie, who's another new recruit, albeit a bit more experience, having that AFL level for a few years, out injured at the moment, but he's had shown some good signs, and I think once he gets his body right, he'll play some really good footy.
Just on Billy Coates and Jack Marnie, how far away do you think those boys are?
I don't know. Coates is the runner today, so
that's a good sign.
The hamstring can't be too bad. So he's had obviously some shoulder issues dating back to the prelim final last year. So yeah, I think not far away, but no need to rush him. He's a quality footballer. And Marnes, I'm not sure. At least another week, I would have thought, but we'll see how he goes.
This is the halftime show thanks to Lighting Options, providing lighting solutions across Greater Melbourne, Mornington, Geelong and the Surf Coast. Old Brighton captain Harry Hill's family business. We're with Old Brighton President Tom Clark and SCOB President Paddy Mount. This game of footy, gentlemen, tight contested. How do you think it'll play out over the next 2 quarters? Because I'm looking at 2 midfield groups that have been tackling each other and working hard into each other all day long. This might break open at one point. Tom, I'll start with you.
It might break open, but probably unlikely. I think we'll just get more of the same for 2 quarters. I thought going in at quarter time, we're pretty happy. The scores are about level. We had the win in the second quarter, but could only kick 1 goal. So I'd say more of the same in the rest of the game.
Yeah, look, I'm never a fan of us having the win in the first quarter because I always think we're a better finishing team than a starting team. And it took us about 20 minutes to wake up. But, yeah, I agree. It'll be an arm wrestle. There's two very good midfields out there and a really good contest in the ruck too. I think Hamish Reimers, who's relatively inexperienced for us, is more than holding his own against, is it Felix or Sam Flockhart? Felix Flockhart.
Sometimes both. I'll tell him he said that, so it's hopefully fire him up in the second half.
But yeah, so I think it'll be another single-digit margin, I reckon, the way it has been the last few years.
The way it's looking, we're pretty much certain, I reckon, for it, guys, because as I mentioned, 7 points or less your last 5 contests. So we look destined for something like that. Paddy Mount, Tom Clark, thanks for your company over half-time. Good luck for the rest of the game and until the next time we see you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Paddy.
Paddy Mount and Tom Clark, the presidents of the respective clubs today, joining us for our half-time show, all thanks to Lighting Options. We'll have Raj Johnston's half-time talking points on the other side of this break.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45pm.
3-7-25 Old Brighton, 2-3-15 St Kevin's half-time at the Brighton Beach Oval. It's the Tunners by 10 points. Let's quickly get it down to Raj Johnston for his half-time talking points on the boundary. Might not have Raj quite yet. Let's try again. Raj Johnston, have you got us? No, we haven't got Raj Johnston at this present time. We'll be chasing that up for him. But Greg Hutchison, Simon Petch, it was good to catch up with both Paddy Mount and Tom Clark, the presidents for the respective clubs. They seem certain that we're destined for another single-digit classic, and it will be contested and tight, and it'll be a tackle fest for the rest of this contest. What do you think?
Well, they're probably on what they've seen. They're making a fair assessment, I would have thought. I just think that if Brighton can get the ball to the outside and their run and carry game can come into it, I reckon they can get hold of St Kevin's here. It's going to be tough into the wind, but they can hold on into the wind. But they've got probably some forwards that are a bit more dangerous than what St Kevin's have looked like. So it's a big test for Brighton here because they've got to change the game a little bit. They've got to get the ball to the outside. They've got to use their blokes who can run and carry. We saw in that quarter when St Kevin's got the ball to the top side of the ground, their run and carry, they were able to get the ball inside 50 quite well, but they just didn't have the forwards to capitalise on it, whereas I think Brighton have got that.
Well, we don't want to see a tackle fest because what we want to see is what you just said. Let's just get running. Let's get that ball out, get it to our runners, and let's start scoring. Like 5 goals for a game for teams that are one on top, one on third on the ladder. Like, really, let's get this ball moving.
Raj Johnston, down to you. We still haven't got that working for Raj. Unfortunately, we'll be catching up with him across the course of the afternoon. Marcel Bruin is our 3/4 time guest as well, so we'll be hearing from him in the huddle and off the back of the break in 30 minutes or so. It's time. We have a 10-point game at the moment. It's Old Brighton ahead, 3-7-25 to 2-3-15. Simon Petch with the third quarter.
And for Hodges Real Estate, the third term is underway. And guess who gets it? Richards out of the middle for St Kevin's. Goes long with a kick to full forward or centre half forward, and Critchley takes the first mark of the game in this third term.
Good effort there by St Kevin's. Out of the centre. Al Richards been a good player all day, Al. Got a lot of energy. Bit of a scruffy kick, but when you're in front, you give yourself every chance.
Energy is the word. That's exactly what he used. And you're right about the kick. It wasn't the greatest. He was running quick, and Critchley led up beautifully. Now Sam in front of goal, down to the cricket net side of the end of the ground, off the side of the boot. In fact, out of bounds on the full. He hit it that good. Wow. Their skill level with their foot kicking today has not been the greatest, St Kevin's.
Well, maybe he tried to allow too much for the wind and miskicked it, and I think the thought was right. He hit it to the left side of the goal post, but he hit it to the left side of the point post.
And it stayed there.
I think you're very forgiving, both of you. Tom Jock takes the intercept mark.
Oh, we've got to be forgiving. You can say a hell of a lot more, but we're not going to.
Beautiful kick from Tommy Jock inside 50. Barnett in the leading lane. He hit him lace out, Tommy, and he'll be congratulated by a host of St Kevin's teammates. Barnett will line up for a shot at his third.
Yes, and he's kicked two from this virtual identical position in that first quarter. And the distance won't bother him.
So this would be for number 8 on the season for Sam Barnett, who had a 43-game senior stint from 2017 to 2021 for the Scobbers before spending some time at Old Geelong. It's a bit of a stuttery approach for the St Kevin's number 12. He's pushed it a little bit to the right-hand side. That looked good, but faded late. St Kevin's 2-4-16. Barnett with both of their goals. Old Brighton 3-7-25 for Hodges Real Estate.
So Brighton yet to really see. Now Barnett another chance from that poor kick in. This time it's better. Well, that's his third of the afternoon now from a poor kick in from defence by Brighton. St Kevin's kicked their third. Barnett kicks his third. And they go on to 3-4-22, trailing Brighton 3-7-25 for Hodges Real Estate. 2.25 minutes gone in this third quarter.
He might be putting his hand up for Big V selection. The way he's going. He's been terrific.
He's a very good footballer. I've seen a fair bit of him with St Kevin's over the journey. A very good footballer indeed. Back into the middle.
He's had 4 shots on goal, and 3 of them have been goals, and St Kevin's only have 3 goals. So he's having himself a day, Sammy Barnett. Back in the middle we go. Reimers spikes it away. Gregson is there with Winter. Winter just shrugged him off. Kicked it towards the arc of 50. Barnett's there again, back with the flight. He was called out of it. Went to Richards, who evades one tackler. Now to Hodges. St Kevin's getting their move on. Hodges' kick was smothered, though, by Dimatina. Taken by Reimers. They've still got it now to Dillamitru. The kick inside 50. Back in the hole is Gilbert. He reaches across the front. Couldn't quite bring it down, though. Ground level McNabb, tight roping the boundary. Found Montanaro, who was over the line in the right back pocket. Or left back pocket, rather, for Old Brighton. St Kevin's making the running early here. Hutch?
Yeah, but as I mentioned before, Al Richards right in the game. A lot of energy, a lot of effort.
It's been superb. Kerr doing the ruck work with Felix Flockhart. It is Paddy Kerr who wins it down. He's dispossessed quite quickly. Felix Flockhart just about chucked it out to Dimatina. His kick outside of defensive 50 was chopped off by Reimers. And he's got Tucker riding shotgun. Here goes Sammy Tucker. A kick long to the goal square. Barnett from the side. What a fly. He got up high. Couldn't bring it down low and rushes it through. St Kevin's doing it slowly. They move to 3-5-23. That margin cut to 2 points. 3-7-25 Old Brighton for Hodges Real Estate.
So down in defence again. It's been down this end here. All of the quarter. McNabb goes short here. And Howden's got it here for Brighton, and we didn't know where to go. He tried to get around quickly, eventually he did. Kick towards centre wing out of sight of the ground, and Andriski Seaton there being held on to, said the umpire, and Seaton gets the free kick. So it's all St Kevin's early in this third term for Hodges. He goes long with a kick towards centre half forward, fist away, and it's brought to ground in a tackle and will have a ball up. 3-7-25 Brighton, 3-5-23 St Kevin's. 4.5 gone third term for Hodges Real Estate in this third quarter. Out of the pack now, McNabb head over the football. Inside 45 for St Kevin's, going nowhere. Again, a ball up.
So 2-point leaders, the Tunners. 5-minute mark of this third term for Hodges Real Estate. Inside 50, it's just spiked to the top of the goal square. Gilbert got rid of an opponent. Barnett, could he kick a fourth? No, he gives it off to Critchley. And once again, Sam Critchley, he's not got his kicking boots on today. From 8 metres out, he kicks it out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. That's unfortunate for Big Sam, who looked so mighty last week. He was pushed as he kicked, and it was an attempted banana, but not his best effort. McNabb from the back pocket. Jock and Sam Flockhart, he was 3 deep. Takes a big contested grab out of side wing. He's got nothing going for him. He's between wing and half back. He's called to play on now. Jock comes up to him. Flockhart sits it on the head of Angus Hart of St Kevin's, who's got Seagar for company. At ground level, Gregson. He's around the place. He lays a tackle on Hodges. It'll be locked underneath that pack. It'll be thrown up between wing and half forward for Old Brighton. Playground side of the grounds. Flockhart doing battle again with Reamers. That's Sam Flockhart. Gregson tries to break through Jock. Jock just stole the footy from him. Gave it away for Richards. The handball was behind him. Richards has to go backwards. He turns it over to Burnell. Now it's with Howden. He'll be lucky and happy to go out of play. And does so. So centre wing, playground side of the ground. St Kevin's have cut the margin to 2 points, Simon Petch.
Yes, they've cut the margin, but they've had all of the play and they've had opportunities to score goals and they haven't. Thrown back in. Reamers in front, Sam Flockhart at the back. Ball hits the ground and Sam Flockhart's bootlaces towards the boundary line. Hodges. Kick, short one. Found Mansfield. He goes to play on. It's been all St Kevin's in this third term. Critchley back to the football. Fist away there by Kerr. It came down and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up. A good tackle laid on Tweedy on Jones by Tweedy, and the ball to be thrown in the air. Up it goes inside 45 for St Kevin's. Kerr palmed it down and a Barnett there brought to ground by Tweedy in a tackle. And once again, a ball up. 25 playing 23. Brighton holding on for dear life in this third term. Tweedy head over the football. Handball Hill. He got a kick towards centre wing to Pryor. Went a little bit too far for him. He couldn't reel it in and he sees it over the boundary line out of play. And in front of the scoreboard we'll have a ball in. 25 playing 23. Brighton have the lead. 7 minutes played in this third quarter for Lexus.
Around the grounds for the real stakes.
For Hodges, sorry.
Old Zavarians by a kick. Thank you, Simon Petch. Over Old Scotch at this present time. Collegians have a 7-point lead over St Bernard's. They're the two close ones. Also, University Blues have just taken the lead back from De La Salle. 2 points here at Brighton Beach Oval. Advantage for the Tunners. Fisher doing his best work at ground level on Cam Hodges. The umpire will come in. And now just some words between the two number 6s. Fisher and Jock getting reacquainted. Nothing in it though. The umpire will throw it back up. So Reamers and Sam Flockhart will battle over it, and that will just go straight into the lap of Walters, who is in the lap of Gregson in turn. And we'll do it all again.
So here we go again. Yep, same area as that second term. Will it get out of here?
Jock pushes Gregson into a Richards tackle. Richards got out with the footy, tried to tightrope the boundary line, stepped out of play. So you're right, Simon Petch, 4 quick stoppages.
One of the teams is going to have to be really brave here and try and get the ball to the top side of the ground, and no one's going to score.
Yeah. Who's game enough? Who wants to take that on? We'll see. Thrown back in, scoreboard side of the ground here at Brighton. Both Reamers and Sam Flockhart got a hand on it. Burnell, handball there, Fisher didn't work. Reamers picked it up at his bootlaces. High up and under kick, 45 out from goal. Walters roved it beautifully.
Oh my goodness.
Handball to Barnett for 4, he's got it! So Barnett's kicked his 4th goal of the afternoon.
Gee whiz, I might have underestimated the St Kevin's forwards before. He's done played well, hasn't he?
There's only been one, and he's kicked 4.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's his 4th of the afternoon and St Kevin's 4th, and they hit the lead for the first time today. 4-5-29 to Old Brighton, 3-7-25 for Hodges Real Estate. 9 minutes played in this third term. Well done there, Reamers. Got that kick in. Barnett roved it beautifully and put it on its way for his 4th. Polished display.
This is the day that I think Sam Barnett would have dreamed about as a 12-year-old, where he kicks all of St Kevin's goals and leads them to a come-from-behind victory. That part's not quite ticked off yet, but he's got 4, as do St Kevin's, and they've got a 4-point lead ahead for the first time today. But here go the Tunners from the centre bounce. Duke back with the flight, tipped it away from Hope. Burley, it looks like, is taken out of play by Karianis. Dumped him over the boundary line, and then a little way of apology, taps him on the shoulder, gets back to his feet. So right beneath us.
No need for that. Just let him get up. Get on with the game. No need to do that.
Left half forward for Old Brighton. Sam Flockhart has the job on Reamers here. It's a St Kevin's man who flicks it down to Jock, who was maybe held onto for a moment by Seagar. He's going to go in and dispossess Hodges. Ferguson hacks it up the chimney. Walters will come across the front and mark it on his chest. It was courageous from the Scobbers, Gunson rather, the number 36. So it's centre-half back, true centre-half back. He goes to that high side that Hutch has been calling both teams to go for. It's Duke who goes to Mansfield by hand. He played on quickly. Now Mansfield kicks inside 50. It's not his best.
Didn't look.
Gilbert cuts it off.
So Brighton have the football back again, out of sight of the ground. Pryor's got it. He comes back inside dangerously. Reamers palmed it to ground. Free kick going Fisher's way, is it? Reamers over the top of him. And Fisher gets it centre wing here for Brighton, so they attempt to go forward. 29 playing 25. St Kevin's have the lead in a very, very low scoring game. Kick back towards Felix Flockhart. Angus Hart's got the footy for Scobbers. He kicks towards the boundary line. Mansfield was there. It goes over and will have a ball in.
Great contest between Harry Hill and Cam Hodges here. Both players know each other really, really well, and neither have given any quarter. It's been a really good contest. I'd like Harry to be able to just step up a little bit here and just have a bit more of an influence on the game.
Yeah, and you wouldn't expect either to give an inch either, Greg, would you?
No, exactly.
Thrown back in. Reamers got front berth on Sam Flockhart. Palmed it down. Walters without the football, stripped and brought to ground, and the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up, as Jock obviously said something that Tom Fisher didn't really like, and now Jock wants to have a go at him about what he said. And a bit of jumper pulling. That's about as far as we go these days. Pretty boring stuff. Here's Reamers. Now Ferguson. Left foot kick around the body. Got distance but out. And resultant free kick going Brighton's way, or did it bounce?
And pre-game you see Tom Jock and Tom Fisher just standing behind the coaches' boxes laughing and joking like they're best mates, and they get out there and they just want to belt each other.
Yeah, white line fever, it's terrific.
Yeah,
and that's the way it should be too. Be mates before and after, but belt the living daylights out of each other while you're out there. Thrown back in. Sam Flockhart didn't get a hand onto that one. Picked up there by Winter. High tackle laid on him, or he dropped the footy. Free kick Brighton.
They're going to Hope here on the broadcast wing. He tips it to his own advantage ahead of Burley. Flicks it inside. Benier on that right, looking for Ag. The kick will evade him and go out of play. Right beneath us, left half forward for Old Brighton.
So this is a reversal image, really, of that second term. Brighton are struggling, where St Kevin's are getting that free-flowing going. It's a total turnaround here, and we've gone nearly 13 minutes into the game, into the quarter.
4-5-29 St Kevin's, 3-7-25 Old Brighton. They haven't scored since the break. Reamers flicks it down only to the advantage of Hill, who has Howden. It took a cruel bounce. It skipped away from him. Delamitru has time to think about it. It's a torpedo towards the intersection of the 50-metre arc and the boundary line. He might be pinged for insufficient intent, and he is, George Delamitru. It's a blind kick. Tweedy will take the free, left half back for Old Brighton beneath the scoreboard. 13 minutes gone. He's going to kick to this packed broadcast wing, where Richards loses control of the footy and the ball goes out of play.
Yeah, but about the 22-minute mark of the second quarter, St Kevin's had most of the game, really. They've been unlucky that they haven't scored more, particularly in the second quarter. They've controlled the quarter this game.
They sure have.
So back in we go. Jones into the ruck now against Sam Flockhart for St Kevin's, and it's a free kick going the way of the Tunners. Advantage taken by Dimatina, who streaks down the wing, goes to Ag by handball, not the greatest of options. Hart caught him high though, and he's bailed out Ryan Ag. In the second senior game, plays on. Richards on the mark, comes up to him, hits in late. That'll be a downfield free kick. Didn't need to do that, Al Richards.
It was about the only way Brighton looked like they're going to have a shot on goal too, wasn't it?
It'll be a free kick to Jamie Hope directly in front of goal, 25 metres out, Hutch. And in a low-scoring contest, we've only seen 7 goals scored today. You don't need to give one away like that.
No, that was silly because the ball had left the area. Yeah, had the ball have been still with Ag, that's fair enough. But Al, just calm the farm a bit.
Hope's already got 1 today. He's got 9 on the season, directly in front. Shouldn't miss this one. Doesn't. Kicks it straight over the goal umpire's hat. And Old Brighton back in front. 4-7-31. They lead St Kevin's 4-5-29. 14 and a half gone in this third term. That's all thanks to Hodges Real Estate, a proud sponsor of Old Brighton for over 30 years. If you're buying and selling in the area, please speak to Hodges Director and Tonner's past player Angus Graham.
So no one goes to Richards. He's gone back to the middle and no one has gone up to him, even from Brighton, to rub it in. He's been allowed to walk back to the centre circle on his own without any issue.
I reckon he knows he's probably done the wrong thing. I don't think anyone needs to remind him about that.
But you would have thought a few of the Brighton players might have gone up and just said something.
No, they like him. He's a good bloke, Al.
Okay. So Gregson now's got the free kick in the middle of the ground here for Brighton. Seagar calling for it. He goes in that direction and held up in the breeze, and Seaton is allowed to fist it away from him and go to the boundary line. So Brighton back in front by 2 points. 4-7-31. St Kevin's 4-5-29. We've gone just on 15 and a half in this third quarter. Only 8 goals for the game so far. You would have thought it was an absolute mud heap out here today, but it's not. Just goals are hard to come by for both sides. Dimartino shrugged a tackle, heard the call. Lindner goes towards goal. It'll bounce through. Will it? Oh no, it bounced on its point and Angus Hart saw it over. So another missed opportunity there to Brighton. They go to a 3-point lead. 4-8-32, St Kevin's 4-5-29. 16 gone for Hodges Real Estate in this third quarter.
So Seaton will kick it as long as he can down the playground wing. Initial contest, Winter is there. Howden did so well, was clean. Evaded Darmody, kicked it inside 50. Duke in the hole, has to reach up. Flockhart over the top! Oh, Felix Flockhart used all of his reach there. Xavier Duke was backing back, but Flockhart just reached above him and plucked it, Greg Hutchison.
Yeah, 3 inside 50s. This is going to be the third shot on goal. St Kevin to be disappointed because they did control the game for the first 13 or 14 minutes.
And that just held up beautifully for Flockhart. It was like a high jump leap, really. That's all he had to do.
22-year-old. He's got a decorated VFL career. He actually played for 6 different teams in 2021 when he was the Sandy Dragons and playing VFL games. He's back for the Tunners this year. That one started to the right. It's coming back, but not enough. He's left it a little bit wide and misses Felix. So 4-9-33 now. Old Brighton 4-5-29. St Kevin's. Let's go down to Raj Johnston on the boundary. Raj?
Yeah, Paddy, excitement is building, an atmosphere down here from both the Tunners and Scobbers camps. Something I did notice at halftime too was an umpires coach speaking to 2 of our field umpires, so good to see them getting support.
Ball kicked back into the middle, and it's in front of a really good crowd down here today. The weather's certainly brought everyone out. It's one of the best crowds I've seen down here at Brighton in a long time. Thrown in the air again in the middle. From that kick in, now Reema's palmed it over the shoulder. Sam Flockhart head over the football. Handball came out here. Dimartino kick down towards half forward. Seaton there, but it's getting in the way and risky. One-handed, yes, Greg. He took it beautifully and goes right out wide here to Mansfield, and he... to Burley. He takes the mark and saw Hodges in the middle. He goes long with the kick towards Darmody. Fisted away in the end. It goes towards the boundary line. Picked off here by Tweedy. Then he had to get through a gill tackle. He couldn't do that. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. 4-9-33 Brighton. 4-5-29 St Kevin's. Ball thrown back in the air again. 18 gone, third term for Hodges Real Estate. 45 out for St Kevin's goal. Gregson went through without it. Walters a handball to Hodges off the side of the boot. That was all right because it worked. And Mansfield's got it just on the 45-metre arc, Port Phillip Bay side of the ground.
I reckon Hodgie saw him. I know it looked like it just was a bit of a hack kick there, but he definitely saw him and got it to him. It's a big kick, this.
Well, he didn't have to move, did he?
No.
Mansfield. It went straight to him. It was just a wobbly kick off the boot. So looking at another goal here. St Kevin's to put them back in front. They trail by 4. This to put them back in front by 2. That's not too bad off the boot. That's pretty good. And Mansfield kicks his first goal of the afternoon. So they go into 5-5-35 St Kevin's. Brighton on 4-9-33, 2 points the margin. St Kevin's had the lead. We've gone 19 in this third term for Hodges Real Estate. Mansfield kicks his first goal of the afternoon to break 4 by Barnett.
Greg Hutchison, has this game opened up just a little bit?
Yeah, it looks like it has, doesn't it, really? Which is a good thing. Both sides have great respect for each other. They play with tight one-on-one defence and they just open up a tad.
1-2 to 3-2. 1-2 to 3-2 in this third term, favouring St Kevin's, who are kicking with a slight breeze. down to the cricket net's end of the ground.
We might get down to Raj Johnston in a little bit because that flag you were pointing out earlier, Simon, Petch, isn't fluttering as it was in the first half. Here's Fisher. His kick is up the chimney to centre half forward. Ag will get there first. It went through his hands in truth. Hart spoiled it to Hodges, who got through a couple of tacklers. His handball chopped off by Gregson. He gets onto that left. He's got a leader and hope. Beautifully weighted kick. It went through his hands and Burley punched it away. Oh, Richards' handball, which put his teammate back under pressure, and Seaton, he's dispossessed, holding the ball. Karayanis getting amongst this contest. What's Kara got for us from 48 metres? It's a short kick inside to Finn Campielli. Would have just travelled the required, and Campielli can go back for a shot at his second.
And thank Gregson for this. He's a bull. When he gets that ball, he's not going to let anyone stop him, and he got it out here. It stayed here, and now Campielli is going to have a shot at goal here, all because Gregson wasn't going to give up that effort at all.
This has been goal for goal. 3 goals to 1 in this term from St Kevin's, has them in front. What can Finn Campielli do about it? It's a tough kick from 40 metres out, tough angle, the wind blowing into his face. He'll need to start it right and hope it comes back. He does so, and he left it narrow, the goal umpire reckons.
Finn reckons it was all right. It looked all right for me.
Finn and Greg Hutchison were of the same mind, I think, that the umpire waves behind Xavier Duke with the kick out. It's a 1-point lead to St Kevin's side of Petch.
It's out of bounds on the full, so a bad kick in there by St Kevin's. It's given it back to Campielli here. 21 gone, third term. No. It'll come back to Benier. He'll take it. 4-10 to 5-5. 1 point the margin. St Kevin's had the lead. Burrow right and go forward. Oh, gee, what a good mark there, taken by Andriski as Sam Flockhart came across the front of the pack, and he got it out here to Burley, and he marks here for St Kevin's. South Road end of the ground. He'll go straight up the middle of the ground virtually towards centre wing. Benier there again. Gunson hit the deck. Handball Reamers over the top. Found Duke, goes to Darmody. St Kevin's go forward with a kick on centre wing. Critchley. Handball Gunson can go all of the way here if he wants. He didn't. He goes to Barnett, and Barnett to line up for goal number 5.
They made an interchange St Kevin's, and it enabled someone to be free on the wing. So a bit of fortune for them there, but they were good enough to be able to get the ball to him.
And Sam Barnett on the Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. St Kevin's lead by a point. He can stretch it to 7. They've kicked 5-5-35 to Brighton 4-10-34. 14 shots to 10. St Kevin's have the lead. And Barnett for goal number 5 has done it. This is a clinic by him today. He'll be disappointed Mansfield has kicked one himself. But Barnett's kicked 5 out of 6, all from that half-forward area, just inside the 45-metre arc. 22.5 gone for Hodges Real Estate, and St Kevin's go out to a 7-point lead, the biggest lead they've had in the game so far. 6-5-41 to Old Brighton 4-10-34.
It's only gotten as high as 12 points the lead for either squad, so that's key. Sammy Barnett at cross half forward. My goodness, we've got to keep our eyes on this one. Maybe Daniel Harford does too. He's up to 10 goals on the season from his 4 games, the 26-year-old out of St Kevin's College in Glen Iris. Spent some time at Footscray VFL as well, so he's got some talent. Does Sammy Barnett. Reamers won it down and went through the hands of Fisher. Burnell evaded a couple of scobbers, kicked it high to centre half forward. Ryan Ag and Angus Harder there. It's spoiled away by Hart. Ag got it the second time of asking, got through a tackle, gave it to Tom Fisher. A torpedo to goal, and he missed to the left-hand side. It was a one-step kick, and it was close for Fish. Just drifted away late. Behind for Old Brighton, who moved to 4-11-35. They haven't had it their own way today. St Kevin 6-5-41, 23.5 gone for Hodges Real Estate.
So Seaton kicks ball back in. He goes to centre wing. Oh, gee, the fly there was from Darmody. He couldn't bring it down with him, and he goes in after it again like a terrier. And a free kick going Brighton's way. And Lowen's got it out there for them. So centre wing after Darmody went the fly. He went the ball again. But Lowen's got a free kick, and he's centre wing, South Road side of the ground. He goes in short. Oh, gee, that nearly hit Fisher's bootlaces. He handballed off to Hill, who goes to centre half forward. No one at home. Now Felix Flockhart around the body, but Andriski chops it off, puts it on his boot straight away. Benier in the van here, and it's coming downfield against Brighton, obviously. and it will go Ferguson's way here for St Kevin's. He goes in short over the top, and Gunson marks. 41 playing 35. St Kevin's have the lead, 25 gone in this third term, and Gunson's got the footy here for St Kevin's on the Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. He goes in short up towards centre wing, and Critchley couldn't mark the footy. Came back to McNabb. High kick staying down Seagull, but Hart too good. He takes the mark here for St Kevin's just outside the defensive 45-metre arc. He goes back towards centre wing, and Barnett over there. No one can take the mark. It fell to Gill. Critchley head over the football, just buried his way in over Montanaro and gets a free kick. Oh dear me, he just ran into him. He had his head down. Montanaro had nowhere to go, and Critchley gets the free kick. Wow. Anyway, inside the centre square.
I'll tell you what, Angus Hart's played a ripping game. If it wasn't for Sam Barnett, he'd just be about St Kevin's best player.
So he goes long as he can, Critchley. It goes towards the boundary line after a fist away, and only a minor score. Taking Brighton on to 4-11-35. St Kevin 6-6-42, 25 and a half gone in this third quarter.
The real stakes, the University Blues 15 points ahead of D-Lar as it stands. Odds of variance lead by 17 points at Camberwell Sports Ground over Old Scotch. McNabb, last line. Love's getting onto that left boot. This one will drift towards the boundary with the wind. Felix Flockhart is there, as is Tom Jock. A whistle. It's going the way of Old Brighton and to Felix Flockhart.
Yeah, against Tucker, he must have pushed him.
So Flockhart wants the corridor. His kick was smothered by Jock, who was awake to Felix Flockhart's intentions. He gets the footy back though. Kicks it towards the edge of the centre square at wing side. Duke got two hands to it, couldn't mark. Andriski's behind the contest, got through Seagar. Hodges didn't look, just kicked it straight up the chimney. Won't carry the distance. Ferguson and Burnell will fight over it. It's Ferguson who gets it forward. Jock is there for St Kevin's. Might be locked underneath them. Walters now. He's tackled by Ag. And it will be thrown up.
Might be lucky to have 10 goals win the game here today, Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
So Felix Flockhart has the ruck duties. Liam Walters has the footy for St Kevin's. He got through nicely. He kicked towards centre half forward. Barnett's got a few to deal with. McNabb didn't take the mark. Montanaro is there for Old Brighton. Hodges now on the scene for St Kevin's. He quite often has the footy. He does pick it up on this occasion, but they dump him into the ground. The umpire will throw it up just inside the arc of 45 metres. Cricket net's end of the ground. St Kevin's in attack as that wind just picks up a little bit more. Flockhart, that's Felix, takes it out of the ruck. Got himself 10 metres forward and then hacks it towards centre half forward, cut off by Burley of St Kevin's.
So Tom's got it down in defence here for St Kevin's. He sticks close to the boundary line. Goes towards Gill. Fancy that, Burley to Gill. I mean, near Port Phillip Bay here. And who's been thrown to
Flockhart and Al Richards.
Yeah, so fancy that, eh? Yeah. There's a good Quinella. Burley and Gill down here today.
Yeah. I wish we'd had Burley in Western Australia last year. We would have been a chance.
Still has nightmares as man Greg Hutchison.
Maybe I should not have mentioned it.
We needed some Burley footies and we couldn't get any. Should have taken him with us.
Now the ball's coming back here to Jones inside the centre square for St Kevin. So dying stages of this third quarter. The first term went 28. This is now at 28. Jones goes long down towards full forward. They all stand and look at two Old Brighton players go at it themselves as Howden. He went to run it through. He did it. Critchley's got him. Critchley got him. And what's the umpire going to say? A free kick going Sam's way. Wow. Well, why didn't he walk it through? He had a little bit of pressure.
He should have just fallen over.
He just tried to
himself over.
And now Critchley's gone in, tackled him, and he gets a shot. Now, his last two shots at goal are gone straight across the face to the outer side. He's on the wrong side for a right footer for a start. He'll bring it round on the left. Oh, here we go again. He's not even going to score. It goes towards Barnett. He couldn't mark that one. It fell to ground. Umpire says give it to me. Well, there's 3 shots for Critchley.
Well, maybe
he hasn't scored.
We could give him some credit and say he was setting it up for Barnett just to have a run and jump.
He could have.
He tried to suck in 50, did Critch. Kerr takes it out of the ruck and just punts it through. They're calling for touchdown of the contest. The umpire signals a goal. Well, Paddy Curry's been quiet today. It's been Critchley who's been doing most of the work up front for St Kevin's. But he gets one out of the ruck. And
They've got 7 now, St Kevin, 7-6-48. They lead Old Brighton 4-11-35. It's a 13-point advantage, which is the largest lead for either squad of the day. It's their 5th goal of the third quarter, Greg Hutchison.
Yeah, they've been good, St Kevin's, haven't they? As I said, from about the 20-minute mark of the second quarter, they've almost controlled the game. And Brighton only have gone inside 53 or 4 times, and they've been fortunate enough to score a couple of times. So they've done pretty well this quarter, St Kevin's.
5-3 to 1-4. 5-3 to 1-4 St Kevin's way. Here's Gregson again. The ball. Have a look at him. He got the handball out into Seager. That worked okay. He had to go back inside, though, for Brighton. Hill, a good handball to Seager. He got it back, and the umpires played a push on Seager just before he kicked the footy. So a chance for Brighton to go forward. Hill gets the handball. Handball Campbelli. Oh, that's a bad handball to Seager. It put him under enormous pressure, and he kicked the ball off the side of the boot straight to Gunson. What are they thinking? Just kick the ball forward. But they wanted to look pretty with a handball. It didn't work. Gunson goes towards centre wing. Eyes only for the footy, Critchley, but he didn't contest it. He left it for Jones, and he takes the mark. 7-6-48 St Kevin's, 4-11-35. Old Brighton, 30 and a half gone in this third term. St Kevin's had the lead. Down towards Kerr. He couldn't contest that. He was outnumbered, really. 3-1. And the siren's gone. So 30 and a half, or nearly 31 minutes played in this third term. Siren has gone. That's three-quarter time for Hodges Real Estate. And the St Kevin's go in with a 13-point lead. 7-6-48 to Old Brighton, 4-11-35.
A huddle report out of Old Brighton for three-quarter time, all thanks to you at Leaf. That's on the other side of this break. It's St Kevin's by 13 points at Brighton Beach Oval.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more.
VAFA Media is next level in 2025, with more live stream and radio coverage coming your way every Saturday. 2 live games streamed every week on Community TV, plus our VAFA William Buck Match of the Day radio call on vafa.com.au and the SEN app, along with more live stream matches on vafa.com.au than ever before. Plus, every game from Premier Men's, Premier B, Premier C and Women's Premier on demand in full at vafa.com.au to watch throughout the week. Saturdays are for the VAFA. Catch the action on vafa.com.au, Community TV and the SEN app.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
VAFA Action is back for 2025, and you can catch the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day every Saturday afternoon. Listen to all the VAFA footy action live on the SEN website and SEN app today from 1:45 p.m.
Three-quarter time at Brighton Beach Oval. Old Brighton 4-11-35, St Kevin 7-6-48. It's the Scobbers by 13 points after they kicked only 2 goals in the first half. They've got 5 in the third. And Sam Barnett has kicked 5 goals. He's been unreal today. Let's quickly get down to Raj Johnston, who's got the mic in the huddle of Marcel Bruin, the coach of Old Brighton. We'll get back to Raj in just a few moments' time. Just having some issues with that mic in the huddle. Yes, 5 goals to Sam Barnett, singles for Mansfield and Kerr for St Kevin's, 2 for Jamie Hope and singles for Cam Pearley and for Travers for Old Brighton, who looked like they were controlling the game, Greg Hutchison, until probably that 10-minute mark of the third quarter. Hello again to you.
might have been a bit fortunate that they're not a bit further behind, because they got a downfield free kick that resulted in a goal, and then they kicked another 3 points, but they just didn't go inside 50, and their outside run, they just haven't been able to get that game going today. They're good around the contest, but their outside run haven't been able to get it.
Let's get back down to Marcel Bruin. Not quite getting anything through Mike there in the huddle. We'll return to Raj Johnston and Marcel Bruin in a few moments' time. Raj will have him off the back of his huddle where we can learn a few of the things that he's spoken to his team about. Let's go around the grounds briefly for the real stakes. Support your mates, not the stakes. It's Collegians 11,975, leading St Bernard's 11,672 at the Harry Trot. Old Zavarians 10,1070, leading Old Scotch 6,844, 26-point leaders.
Well, they've turned that around.
Yeah, the Red and Black Mafia will be up and about tonight. Told by our man on the scene, Cal Cummins, that Scotch, they were ahead in that game and then they just stopped, and the Zavs are running all over the top of them. Old Haileybury, the Bloods, they're 12,678, leading the University Blacks 5,1141, so a 37-point lead for Daniel Ward's men. And then over at Melbourne Uni Oval, it's the Blues 7,850, leading D-Lar 4,428, a 22-point advantage in Parkville for the University Blues here at Brighton Beach Oval. It's 4,1135 Old Brighton facing 7,648 St Kevin's. As the Brighton huddle just breaks. Let's get down just in a few moments' time to Raj Johnston, who has the coach of Old Brighton, Marcel Bruin, with him. What have you got for us, Raj?
Yeah, I'm with Marcel Bruin, Old Brighton.
We look like we've
heard most of it, man. It's just about, defending first when they were getting too easy forward entries and our backs were zoning off. So we need to change that, play it more 1v, so that we can obviously just bring the ball to ground and try and get opportunity, at least slow that game down. Then when we get a ball over to the far side of the ground so we can enter inside our forward 50 rather than letting the wind blow it into that pocket. So get some speed on the ball, take the game on a little bit more.
All the best, thank you.
So speed on the ball, the story for Marcel Bruin in this final quarter. Hutch, what do they need to change, Old Brighton? Is it just as simple as getting quicker around the footy?
You probably might need to be a bit brave here and maybe flip Harry out to a wing to give him some run. Maybe use someone else through the midfield. Harry and Hodges have had a really good battle, but Harry hasn't been able to have an influence. They've got to get the run going as Marcel. Just get the ball to the outside, get the ball to the top side of the ground, and the backs, they're just got to be a bit more accountable.
So Harry Hill starting in the centre circle again, and he's, as you mentioned, Hutch, right next to Cam Hodges, as he has been all day. It was Anthony Lynch told me during the week that they were happy to let it play out this way, St Kevin's. They were happy to put their mids man on man, let it play out the whole game, not worry about a defensive role. They were going to focus on putting their ruck deep to take intercept grabs and keeping their wings one-on-one to try and prevent Old Brighton from having the space. And it's been a successful approach for Anthony Lynch today.
Yeah, and that's right. And if that maintains the way it is, then it means that Finn Campigli and Kai Dimatuma have just got to step up and give them the run that they need on the outside.
Simon Petch with the fourth quarter here from Brighton Beach Oval. Let's see if the Tunners can complete a comeback.
For TLC Healthcare, fourth term underway, and Richards, as he did in that first quarter, gets the first kick or possession of the last term. Gunson goes long with a kick. Top of the square. Kerr! Oh, he couldn't hold on to it. Fell down to ground, and Montanaro kicks the ball clear. But the mark has been taken. And a free kick. No, it's going against St Kevin's for a push against Windsor, and Campigli takes the free kick. So Gregson has it, handball back to Finn Campigli. Goes out wider here to Benier, who gets a handball back here. And Lidno, he was dragged off the football. Richards there again for St Kevin's. They try to go forward. Hill, a great tackle late on Winter. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball this one up.
Well, it's worth trying by Brighton. They just got to try and just run the ball, and they'll make some mistakes, but they've just got to keep having a crack at it.
Thrown in the air, outer side of the ground. South Road end of the ground. That's the end in which St Kevin's kicking this final term. Winter goes inside 45. No mark taken low, and held up there by Barnett, and will have a ball up.
So Barnett bubbling around the place. He's looking for half a dozen in a game where we've only seen 11 goals kicked. At one point had kicked all 4 of St Kevin's goals. Then Benny Mansfield went and ruined his figures. Here is Barnett at ground level. He wanted the handball received. Wasn't going to get it from Gill. The umpire will throw it back up. Ollie Gill, who's back in this St Kevin's outfit, was around the periphery at the start of the season. Here's Kerr in the ruck against Sam Flockhart. Hill kicks blindly outside a defensive 50. Karayanis holds off Duke. Jock is there. Gave away a free kick by the looks of it, Tommy Jock. Going the way of Hope, who's begging for the footy. Gregson is leaking forward. Hope probably didn't see him. Went wide to Karayanis on this broadcast wing instead. He goes towards half forward. Well weighted pass to Seagar. It's a step ahead of his opponent. He's just about 2 kicks from goal. Now, if he got a bit of width on his run-up, he could probably kick the distance. Instead, Seagar goes into the pocket. Jock, that was brave! Oh, so brave from Tommy Jock. He went back into the leading lane of Felix Flockhart, got absolutely cleaned up for his trouble and wins himself a free kick. Greg Hutchison, you don't have to ask Tom Jock to stick his head in the hole.
Very courageous, great effort. Yeah, that's what he does all the time. That's why he's been such a great player at this level.
And lets himself down with a pretty ordinary kick to centre wing. Well, I'd say that's been the state of play here today. This foot kicking from both sides has really left a lot to be desired here today. And there's another example. Should have easily been just a drop punt, but ended up out of play. Here's Reamers over the back, Sam Flockhart. He went the football, then left it behind. Handball from Winter, came out here towards Richards. Look away, handball to Delamitru. Another one to Duke. It didn't work as Fisher went straight in, straight at him, straight towards the boundary line. The ball goes, and we'll see it over and have a ball in. Well done, Fisher. He wasn't letting that one out.
Talk about Fraser Gregson being a bull. Tom Fisher's the exact same. They've got a couple in there, Old Brighton.
Yeah, the young St Kevin's players have stood up here, haven't they?
Sure have. Thrown back in. Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. Reamers, a slight little palm down to ground. Winter couldn't hold on to it. Sam Flockhart spun around enough to get a handball there towards Karayanis, who got it back to Flockhart. 45 out from goal into the pocket through the hands of Felix Flockhart. Goes towards the boundary line, and Duke will see it over.
Waxing the Flockharts.
He's a terrific, exciting player, Sam, isn't he? What he can do. Very exciting. No wonder VFL clubs and AFL clubs are all over him at the moment.
45 out from Brighton's goal. Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. They're attacking to the cricket nets in this final term. Felix Flockhart got it down nearly railroad there by Hill, but Hodges straight onto him. Ball on the ground. Here's Winter, who tried to arrest the football away. Look for a free kick. Handball came out. Gregson. Handball towards Pryor towards the boundary line. And Drisky spoiled him. It went to Dimatina, who got it back to Pryor, who goes right across the face to Benier. It goes over the line. We'll have a ball in.
So Marcel's obviously pulled the trigger and pushed Max Benier forward, hoping that he can jump at it and take a decent mark down there.
He's got springs in his heels as Maxi Benier.
They need 3 goals to be in front here, Brighton. They've kicked 4 for the game.
Hart and Felix Flockhart. Felix Flockhart had a go at the ground level. Fisher tried to hack it forward. Duke's kick carried 10 metres. It's flipped on. Gunson, whose kick was smothered. Karayanis has it. Handballs it into the contest again. This all playing out 30 metres from the Old Brighton goal. St Kevin's chain out by hand. Barnett's got it at centre half back. Spreads his kick really wide, and now they're well and truly out through Mansfield. 2 bounces down the interchange wing. Cuts inside. It's Delamitru rather. He was looking for Jones, who put his head down. It wasn't a great kick by George Delamitru in his direction. And Harry Hill now for Old Brighton can go through Campeoli and McNabb. McNabb with 2 scobbers on his tail, goes towards Linda, who fumbled it. Hodges just busts through. Montanaro takes him in his arms, brings him down. Right beneath us at half forward for St Kevin's.
He's a good player, Hodges. Just attacked the footy really hard. Just put his head down, won it.
He's gone all day up against Harry Hill, and those two line up next to each other for this throw up right beneath us. Reamers wins it down straight to Dimatina, who just wanders out of the contest, gave it to Harry Hill. On the right, looking for Felix Flockhart, who flies and marks. When he gets his full reach at it, no one can stop him. He wanted McNabb running past. The umpire called him to play on as he stepped off. Went down to Travers, who's got Seagar all by himself in the pocket. And he marks 35 metres out from goal. Right forward pocket for Old Brighton. This a goal would cut the margin to 7 points. It's beautiful movement there, Hutch, by the Tunners.
Great movement. And that's what they can do when they get the ball to the outside and they run and carry. They're a really talented team, and great use inside 50 to find Geordie here.
That's what they were doing in that first term, Greg. They were doing this.
Exactly.
His first goal of the year came last week against St Bernard's Geordie Seagar, who's on the runway now. His kick looks a little bit left. It's coming back, though. He slots it, Geordie Seager. 5-11, 41 Old Brighton, 7-6, 48 St Kevin's. The Tunners are coming. That was clean movement, as Greg Hutchison, their director of coaching here, said. Former Big V coach. And they are just looking like they're ready to explode here, the Tunners. What can St Kevin's do?
Yeah, nice to see Kai Dimatuna get involved there. He's a talented player as well, and got through the traffic, and we ended up getting it inside 50. Or we, or Old Brighton.
Oh, yes, no way here.
No way here.
There's no way here.
No.
You've done very well today, Hutch, it must be said.
Very unbiased. Very much unbiased commentary down here today. Here's Reamers out of the middle. Charge, well done there by Delamitru and Hodges, who was held up by Burley. Now Delamitru goes in after it again. Burnell it was, and Delamitru on the bottom of that pack will get up last. So ball at centre wing, base side of the ground down here at Brighton Beach Oval. Thrown in the air, Ruck's got a hand onto that one, and again Delamitru's last man up. Back to the umpire. 48 playing 41. St Kevin's had the lead. They're kicking into a slight breeze in this final turn to the South Road end of the ground. Oh, holding on off for an eternity. What's he want to do with it? Why didn't he just drop it to his boot? He couldn't, because it was a great tackle laid on him by Lindner. And he gets the free kick right in front of the faithful. He goes short to Dimatina. That was 15 metres. I'll go E for Tiggy. He goes close to the boundary line, and Montanaro takes the mark here for them. So possession game here at the moment by Brighton. They trail by 7. They're kicking down to the cricket net end of the ground, but a bad kick, and Seaton chimes in and takes the mark for St Kevin's in front of the scoreboard. Base side of the ground. He's looking across the middle, but says no to himself. Straight back where the traffic is. Montanaro there. Gill at the back. Ball hits the deck. Going in was Burnell. He was going nowhere, and we'll have a ball up.
It could stay here for about 5 minutes, couldn't it? The way the wind's blowing and the way it is.
Yep.
It's gotten more blustery in this fourth quarter for TLC Healthcare. It's St Kevin's by 7 points as Ferguson takes this one out from the throw-up. We'll go around the grounds then for the real stakes. Support your mates, not the stakes. It's the Blues, the University Blues, by 27 points over D-Lar. It's Old Zavarians who are running away with this, it must be said. 37-point leaders over Old Scotch. Collegians by 4 at the Harry Trott over St Bernard's. Old Haileybury lead it by 38 points over the University Blacks. Here's Sam Flockhart. Spreads it to Kai Dimatina by hand. Centre wing. Port Phillip base side. His kick skips to Benier, who's through it. He was caught by Tucker. Interrupted his attempted handball. This will be brought back as St Kevin's trying to play on quickly. So Sam Tucker will be made to take his kick from left half back. His side clear by 7 points once Richards finds him. Advances at 20 metres. This is where the movement stops though, Hutch, because there's no movement apart from Critchley and Tweedy wrestling beneath us ahead of the footy for Richards to kick to. So he just has to sit it up. Critchley from 3 deep will get hands to it. Gilbert nearly brought it down. Kerr now with it. Haven't called his name too often today. He's wrapped up by Tweedy. So in front of the benches, Benier into the ruck. He's going to try and jump over the top here. Doesn't quite get the lift he wanted. Mansfield throws Dimatina off the footy. Benier back to Dimatina, who wanted McNabb behind the contest. The ball goes out of play. Left half forward for St Kevin's.
So nothing happening, although St Kevin's are just inching it closer to goal.
Yeah, they wouldn't be. Petchy, they wouldn't be unhappy here, St Kevin's, with the position
correct.
of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Thrown back in, Jones front berth. Now Ferguson roved it beautifully. Have a look at him. Got around Burnell. Left foot kicks out of bounds. We'll mark it here.
They're probably not happy now, though. I wouldn't have thought. Not with where that's ended up. If Brighton could be brave here and go across the side of the ground, be brave, try and get to the top side of the ground.
So underneath us, Lindner goes towards centre wing. Eyes only for the footy. He's hard, is it? Yes, and he's taken the mark in front of Felix Flockhart. So centre wing for St Kevin's, heard the call from behind. Handball came, and a kick by Tucker, not a real good one, and it lands in the arms of Fisher. He's got the chance now for Brighton to go across the middle of the ground. Travers there, but Seaton at the back has taken the mark over the top. He goes out wider here to Gunson. St Kevin's on the move. They go towards 45. Now Barnett, he's kicked 5 for the game. Is he going to have a look here? He gets around, left foot kick, high up and under. Gill underneath, fished away, Benier. They all hit the deck. Now Fisher picks it up beautifully. Handball, another handball came back to Howden. Handball back to Seager, but he's got hardly anyone in front of him. He had to go right out wide to Karianis, and he takes the mark. Now they run in inside 45 for him. He goes Seagar's way. He takes the mark inside 45 and should go back and have a shot.
Hutch Seagar involved at centre half back and then pushing inside 50, elite running.
Yeah, great running. Yeah, and they got the ball to the right side of the ground. Got it to the top side. No, they didn't have much inside 50, but Seags, as you said, has run from half back to get inside 50 to get a nice little chip over from Cara.
Yep, and it started with Fisher. It ended up with Karayanis in the end, and he just had to wait, and then Seagar made space. This is how they were doing it in the first term. Now Seagar down towards the cricket net's end of the ground, 46 out from goal, kept it low, won't make the distance, fist through minus score. Taking Brighton on to 5-12, bad kicking, 42. St Kevin 7-6-48, one straight kick the difference for TLC Healthcare, 12 minutes played in this final quarter.
One straight kick in, and as you mentioned, Simon Petch, here's Tommy Jock, he kicks it towards us, Port Phillip Bay side of the ground. Reimers, second attempt, not paid by the umpire as he brought it down. Fisher is wrapped up. Tell you what, Angus Hart, and the number 9 for St Kevin's, has been super today in his new role as a key defender. He looks very comfortable down there. It'll be thrown up neutral territory. Jones won it down at the feet of Winter, who was tackled without the footy, appealed for the free kick, nothing forthcoming. The umpire will throw it back up. Harry Hill waiting to come back on for Old Brighton. You'd think this would be his last rotation for today as Benier slaps it forward all of 15 metres directly out of play, and the umpire again will opt for a stoppage.
Tell you what, a draw's not out of the equation here.
As you mentioned, with the bad kicking, Petchy, Old Brighton 17 scoring shots and Kevin's 13, yet it's the Scobbers who have this game by 6 points. Barnett's kicked 5, as we've mentioned. Reimers wins it down to Winter, who kept his hands free, got it to Ferguson. He's got a shepherd from Richards, a beautiful kick by Ferguson to Delamitri. He wants it back to Tommy. He's hopping on the spot trying to get the football back.
That wouldn't have worked, though.
No,
it wouldn't have worked.
Wouldn't have worked. Fish would have had him very, very quickly.
Would have eaten him.
Instead, Delamitri will kick it to the arc. Kerr's got an outnumber with Tweedy. Too strong.
He's a big man, Curry, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He just knew where the drop was. Tweedy couldn't get there. Kerr held him off nicely. Now this would take his absolute best because the wind is blowing right into him. He's on the arc of the man of the mark at the arc of 45, so Kerr will have to kick it at least 51, 52 metres. And he'll have to probably start it inside the left-hand goalpost and hope it holds its line, Hutch.
He's going to go to the top of the goal square here to the ruckman.
So Reimers,
he's not going to have a shot. He'll just chip it up to the top of the goal square here.
Reimers is the tall timber. Kerr has his best effort. It's going to drop short. Reimers, no! It's fisted away from him by Felix Flockhart, who got back and threw for a behind. St Kevin 7-7-49. 7-point leaders. Old Brighton 5-12-42. For TLC Healthcare, 15 minutes gone, final turn.
Once again, a wobbly kick off the boot. Like, this is what we've seen all day from both sides, is this kicking's been awful. Now, there's a good one to centre wing. No one could take the mark. It came out the back here to Hodges, who's thrown virtually towards the boundary line. And why is he appealing for a free kick? Montanaro. Hill it was. He just tackled him and threw him towards the boundary line.
Been a good contest, Harry and Hodgie. They're good mates. It's been a really good contest.
Thrown back in. Again, a good throw in. Reimers palms it down there towards Winter. Ferguson on a hop. Was held up by McNabb and will have a ball in the air. Centre wing. Base side of the ground. Thrown in the air. Benier won that one down. Fisher a handball to McNabb. He got it out wide here to Burnell. Brighton go forward inside 45. No, Karayanis. He takes the mark just outside and now stops some props and waits for the cavalry to arrive down in the goal square. He goes in that direction. Flockhart fell over. Now a chance here for Travers. He's held up by 2 St Kevin's players in front of goal and will have a ball up. 15 and a half gone, final term. St Kevin's lead by 7 points down at Brighton's end inside 45. Travers in the goal! And Travers has kicked it. He's kicked their 6th of the afternoon. They go on to 6-12-48. St Kevin's 7-7-49 for TLC Healthcare. 16 gone in this final term, and St Kevin's lead by a point, and Travers kicks his 2nd of the afternoon.
They'd be flat, St Kevin's, with that. That's, you shouldn't lose a D50 stoppage there. You should be able to get an outnumber and not allow an easy shot on goal like that. But full credit to Trav. He did a good job kicking the goal there.
He's an opportunist, if nothing else, in that area. He's done it. He kicked that goal in that first caught it in to the South Road end. A very opportunist sort of player.
It's the benefit, Hutch, of having a 19-year-old come in who's played in the midfield in the under-19s. He plays in the as a small forward today in the ones, and he looks pretty good around stoppage, does young Zach Travers. We'll get a repeat one in the centre of the ground.
Yeah, he's had a good debut.
He's been super solid. 2 goals today. Reimers and Benier doing the ruck. I'm interested in the philosophy of Maxi Benier getting an extended stint in the ruck as Hill and Hodges battle over it, as they have all day at ground level. It'll be thrown up against Shaw. It just leaks out in time. Reimers got a handball loose. Really went to no one though. Benier cuts it off and rages away. Richards now has him. Interrupted the Benier kick, which will roll away in front of Jock and Pryor. It's Jock who wins the footy. Pryor will tackle him. The umpire lurks and will opt to throw it up.
Yeah, I just think maybe Sammy was a bit crook at half-time and maybe he just hasn't got the energy to maybe go on the ruck as much as we would hope, and Felix obviously needs a spell down there. And Max is athletic, he can get over the top here.
He's got Reimers for company. It's the St Kevin's man who won it down at the bootlaces. Delamitri will fight over it for the visitors. It'll be locked underneath and holding the footy, going the way of St Kevin's against Dimatina, it looked like. The umpire deemed to have dived on the football. Delamitri wins himself a free kick. 7-7-49 St Kevin's, 6-12-48 Old Brighton, 17 and a half gone. Gill down the line, Tweedy couldn't hold on. It bounced away from Critchley. It was the picture of frustration as that ball goes out of play. 60 metres from St Kevin's goal. This all for TLC Healthcare. Think differently about aged care. We do, a principal partner of Old Brighton. And meanwhile, Simon Petch at Harry Trott. It's the Collegians by 5 points over St Bernard's dying stages.
18 minutes gone here on this final term, and Brighton trail by a point. They're on the move. Sam Flockhart goes to centre wing, marked here by Ag. And Ag takes the mark. They're screaming for it in the middle of the ground. He goes in that direction. No mark taken. Mansfield ends up with it. No free kick to Brighton. You can hear them up here now. They're all starting to come out and have a crack. Here's Gunson. He goes forward with a kick up to Critchley, and he takes the mark. Gill backing back into the square. He's too far for him, so Critchley goes short to Ferguson, and he takes the mark on the 45-metre arc. South Road's end of the ground, and Ferguson just taking his time now, going back. Distance, I'm not sure with him, but he'll put it as far as he can into the teeth of goal. And Reimers, Winter, they're all just here waiting for it, as well as Jones. So this to stretch the margin to 7 points for St Kevin's. He's just outside 45, close to the man on the mark. McNabb on the mark. It won't make the distance. Will it be Fisher through? Winter got a hand onto it. It's still alive. Fisher over the boundary line. Surely, yes. And we'll have the ball thrown back in.
I think it's wise maybe that Old Brighton didn't allow the St Kevin's rush behind, because the margin is just the 1 point. If you keep it to 1 point, you can maybe scrape a draw later on. We're still a fair way away from that equation, just approaching time on now. Thrown back in, Felix Flockhart gave it down to Fisher, or Sam Flockhart rather. The kick cleared defensive 45. Duke was coat-hangered by Travers, the two debutants going at each other. Xavier Duke of St Kevin's. Number 29, the left footer. Puts it into the hot spot. Reimers is down there. He'll get a hand to it. Gilbert spoiled it away. He'll run into his own teammate. Got to Fisher by hand from Gregson. He tumbles it into the centre circles. There's no one ahead of his footy. And Hope has it. And he's off to the races. One bounce through centre half forward. Two bounces there. Trisky won't catch him. Hope it's a goal. Brighton in front. Jamie Hope has 3, Greg Hutchison. 7-12-54 Old Brighton, 7-7-49 St Kevin's.
His eyes lit up, didn't they?
What did they want?
And great play by Fisher and Hill down here too. Tough players. Got the ball, and as soon as Hope, he was, they were never going to get hold of him then.
That ball only had to bounce away from him, and he was gone. He took 2 of them. That ground's firm out there, and he wanted to get as close to those goals as he possibly could, and he did. 21 minutes gone in this final term, and Brighton arrest the lead back. They lead by 5 points, 7-12 to 7-7. A very, very low-scoring game of football down here today. Ball back into the middle. Reimers and Sam Flockhart to go at it. Both got a hand on it, as they have most of the afternoon. Charging through Seaton. Handball Richards. Kick over the head here of Mansfield. He picked it up beautifully. Short kick to Critchley. Oh, he didn't hold on to it. Handball. Benier ends up with it. Handball here to Cam Peely for Brighton. He goes long as he can. Pryor goes up, pushed his man out, Reamers, and a free kick going his way, or Tucker, and he'll take it here for St Kevin's. 21 and a half gone. No, it is Reamers. 21 and a half gone in this final term. And Brighton lead by 5. St Kevin's go forward to the South Road end. Critchley meeting the sandwich. Gill brought to ground and a tackle by Lowen. And we'll have a ball up inside 45 for St Kevin's. Right in front of us here. Man on man, as we can see, as it's been all of the afternoon. No one loose. Thrown in the air, Sam Flockhart got it down, Gill. Tackle to the ground. McNabb pick up, look away, handball, Burnell. Torpedo off his boot towards Pryor. Oh, he didn't hold on to it. And the umpire says bowl it in. Right on centre wing.
So Old Brighton have kicked the only 3 goals of the fourth quarter to hit the front. They lead it by 5. 7-7-49, St Kevin 7-12-54. Old Brighton, meanwhile, at the Harry Trott. St Bernard's back in front off the boot of Charlie Vague. That one's going down to the wire as well. Here's Winter. Tumbles it inside 45. Gilbert did well to outbody Critchley. Bennier is loose out the back. Well shepherded by Lowen. Has a handball option in Dimatina, and now with Tweedy at left half back. Campbell Tweedy from the arc wants Seagar. It's a nicely weighted kick. Oh, they mucked it up. The 2 Brighton players. It was Seagar and Hope who wanted the same football. And in the end, it goes out of bounds on the far wing. Playground side. Just slightly an advantage for the Tunners as far as territory is considered.
I don't know what Hope was thinking there. Seagar had the run at it. Like, just leave him alone.
There's a blood rule here. Looks like that's Harry Hill, I think, who's making his way up off the ground. It is. So the skipper. There's also another Tunners player coming off, so the opportunity to make a few changes. So Ag and Gregson coming back into the game. It's Travers and Hill off the ground. Let's hope that Harry can get back out there with 23 minutes gone in this contest. They'll be wanting their skipper for the closing stages, Brighton. It's a 5-point game. Some blood coming from the knee of Harry Hill, so you think that would be patched up rather quickly.
Good play down here by Maxie Lowen, wasn't it? And really got it going again for them.
Yeah, super shepherd as well. Jones took it out of the ruck, kicked it forward for Barnett, who shrugs one tackle, handballs to Walters. St Kevin's are out. Gunson, he's just going to take a running bounce, runs to 45. Eyes sit on the goals, kicks it towards Critchley, back with the bloody marks.
Great mark.
And he quickly moves it on to Ferguson. He played on Critchley.
What a mark. That's eyes looking up like he had his back to the play, close to a point post and boundary line. He judged it to a nicety.
Yeah, Gilbert was so frustrated he couldn't bring the ball down. The Walters kick faded across the front. Critchley read it best. You're right, Simon Petch, and then Unselfish gave it to Ferguson in a better spot. So Tommy Ferguson, 45-degree angle, a kick of 35 metres. You can hear the sound in our effects mic.
The singing syrup.
This would be his first senior goal for St Kevin's, and it would put the Scobbers back in front. He's done it! And he turns around and he shushes the balcony, Tommy Ferguson.
Gee whiz, that's a very brave thing for a young player to do in his first game, but anyway.
Kick a goal.
He's going to be popular, you'd think.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know what, that annoys them.
Well, Tommy,
absolute daylights out of me. Why do they do that? I'll never know. What does it mean? Who cares? Just get on with the game, mate. You kicked a goal.
So Ferguson,
don't worry about it.
The first St Kevin's goal of the final term.
Where they get this from? America? Something. They copy other... Just be original and just have your own.
Simon Petch not stoked with the celebration.
It is ridiculous.
St Kevin's by a point, Simon Petch.
Thrown back in the air again, and Sam Flockhart won that one down. Winter tackle there by Gregson. Got rid of the footy here to Seagar, who's tackled again by Winter inside the centre square. We'll have a ball up. 25 and a half gone in this final term. A point the difference, and St Kevin's have arrested the lead back in the middle of the ground, and once again the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
I reckon they're just going to drag the nearest player off the ground here and get Harry Hill back on. It doesn't matter who it is, just get whoever's closest to the interchange bench off the ground. and get Harry on.
So Fisher goes forward with the kick, still inside the centre square. Jock head over the football. He won't let it get out too quickly. Now it's scurried here by Ferguson, brought to the ground by Gregson. No high tackle paid, and we'll have another ball up. 55 playing 54. St Kevin's have the lead. 26 gone in this final term. Flockhart, that's Sam. He gets a kick, a short one. Winter there. He contested okay. Goes in after it again with Carianis, and they hold it up 48 metres out from Brighton's goal.
Had a good game, Luke Winter. Been really influential after half-time.
First quarter went 28, second term went 30, third quarter went 31. So how far we got left in this, we don't know. Jock towards the front of the pack, got away from Carianis. No, he didn't. Good tackle, Carianis, and it was close to the boundary line, and he wins the free kick here for Brighton.
So Carianis, his team down by a point, wastes no time at the 26.5 minute mark. Kicks to the top of the goal square. Seager was out the back. It went away from him and it hit the post. Scores a level. 7-13-55. Old Brighton 8-7-55. St Kevin's. It's been tight all day. This will be decided in the next few minutes. Harry Hill, Hutch running back onto the ground.
Yeah, got Tommy Burnell off and Paddy Kerr's off, and Remus is back on, and the ball's just going to kick straight down Remus's throat here.
For TLC Healthcare, it's Burley who has been adjudged to have held on to that mark. Left half back for St Kevin's, scores level, 27 minutes gone. His kick didn't travel too far. Flockhart, that Sam went up for it. Fisher tries to kick it forward. It hit Ag, who goes to Harry Hill. Inside 50, Felix Flockhart underneath the footy. They'll scream for a free kick. It's going the way of Felix Flockhart. Felix Flockhart will have an opportunity to put Brighton in front after he was chopped down by Angus Hart. And it will take his best effort from 40 metres out in a tough angle for the right footer.
We haven't seen too many goals kicked from this side of the ground today. Maybe Barnett one of them. But gee whiz, not too many other players have kicked a goal from this angle today.
We're locked at 55 apiece, 28-minute mark of the final term. Flockhart hasn't kicked a goal today. He's got 9 on the season. The 22-year-olds. Felix has done it! He splits the middle from the angle. Felix Flockhart has put Brighton back in front. In the last time these two squads met, it was Sam Flockhart with the winner late in the semi-final to put the Tunners into the grand final. This time around, maybe it's Felix who's kicked the winner. And he's going back into defence, Greg Hutchison. They're going to try and save this game now.
Yeah, great tackle by Michael Carianis in the earlier passage of play. Was able to keep the ball in the front half for Brighton.
So a goal the difference, and Brighton have hit the lead again, and we've gone 29 minutes in this final term. Ball in the centre square. Have a look at that, stacks on the mill. And we'll have another ball up.
And Plugger's evened up. Felix has gone back, but Plugger's evened up as well. So they've got even numbers in front of the ball.
So about to be thrown in the air again, just outside the centre circles. Felix Flockhart got it down. Fisher goes forward here to Pryor. Will it bounce okay? And Sid it does. He goes in towards Seager, over his head, out towards Hope, towards the boundary line. He flicked it back inside. Carianis was there, but he couldn't go near the footy. Hart got in front of him, but a free kick going Carianis' way. Well, did Hart trip him up?
Yeah,
that's all I could have seen.
He dived on the ball and took his legs out.
So Carianis has an opportunity here to kick them 2 goals in front. He hasn't troubled the scorer today, which is unusual for him.
He'll trouble the scorer here, don't worry about that.
You watch them get to him if he puts it through.
Going to have a shot here to put them 2 goals in front. 30 minutes gone in the final term. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. It's a minor score. That's all right. It's 2 straight kicks to win the game for St Kevin's. They lead by 7 here, Old Brighton. We've gone 30 minutes in the final term.
Handy point. Meanwhile, at the Harry Trot, it's St Bernard's who've kicked away late to win 15-7-97. Collegians 13-12-90. More scores as we get them from across top flight. Jock's got to go quickly. Went for Gunson. Benier got there and then roved his own footy. The handball forward. Hope to Carianis. Carianis will get around. He's got Seagar with him now. He's still going, Cara. A stoppage is as good as a goal at this point of the quarter. And he gets himself out of bounds. 7-point leaders, Old Brighton 8-14-62. St Kevin's 8-7-55. Approaching 31 gone, final term.
or for TLC Healthcare, a principal partner of Old Brighton. Deep inside 50 for the Tunners. Benier wins it down. Karayanis tries to get through. Gregson got a handball to Finn Campili. Walters intercedes. He's tackled to the deck. The umpire takes pity. And he will throw it up centre half forward. 35 metres out, rather, from the Old Brighton goal. Can't be long left. Benier in the ruck. Walters for St Kevin's. Clears the zone. Felix Flockhart picks it off. He may have kicked the winner, Felix. And this incredible streak of close finishes between these two clubs, it's continued today, and the Tunners have held on. They've won it by 7 points. Siren at Brighton Beach Oval. 8-14-62 Old Brighton. 8-7-55 St Kevin's. Felix Flockhart. It's the Flockharts again in close ones with St Kevin's. He kicked what ended up being the difference between the two sides. 7-point winners, the Tunners. That was a cracking final quarter of footy, Greg Hutchison.
Yeah, it was fantastic, wasn't it? A really great clash between two really competitive teams, and both teams are going to be around the mark at the end of the year. 7 shots in the last quarter to Brighton. They really did control it. It took a while for them to hit the front, but once they did, they sort of really never looked like losing, even though St Kevin's hit the front again. Was it 7 shots to 2? Some really good efforts. The Flockhart boys were really good. Good contest from Lukey Winter from St Kevin's, and they'd walk away, reasonably happy. St Kevin's. I would have liked to have the win, but they'd walk away pretty happy with how they've gone. They've had close games all year, and this has certainly been a good game.
Was he your best, Felix Flockhart, today? He might be our Skins player of the day, I think.
Yeah, I thought Sam played really well also. Sam had a bit more influence around the ground with his second efforts at stoppages, but yeah, Felix had a good game.
Yeah. We might give it to Felix for his game winner. He's our Skins player of the day. He wins himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights. Raj Johnston will be out on Brighton Beach Oval to grab him shortly, and then we'll have a chat to Felix up in the commentary box, who kicked the winning goal today. This incredible streak at home, Greg Hutchison, it's continued. You haven't lost a game at home since the late stages of 2023, I believe. It looked like you were about to late in that final term, but they're clutch, the Tunners. That was a mighty finish from them.
Yeah, look, here's a huge advantage. It's a small ground, and Brighton get to train on it all the time, and they understand the wind and the nuances of what they need to do, and they've played the ground really well. It's tough coming here. It's a really, really difficult ground, and the change rooms are not ideal for the opposition, so there's a lot transpires against the opposition teams when they come here, and Brighton are a talented team. Even when they haven't been as talented, they've been hard to beat at home. So
cold showers too, huh?
No, I'm not sure. I've never used the opposition rooms, Petchy, so I wouldn't have a clue, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Let's throw it down to Raj Johnston, who's got our Skins player of the game, Felix Flockhart, alongside him. He's just won himself a pair of cutting-edge Skins compression tights, and he's just about won the Tunners the game. Over to you, Raj.
Got me now, guys?
We've got you. We're having some issues with the microphone, Raj, so we'll try and get down to you shortly. Let's have another go.
Got it.
And we're just having some technical issues with Raj's microphone. So Felix Flockhart is our Skins player of the day. He will win himself a pair of compression tights after a stunning performance. The winning goal as well. Let's try Raj again on the boundary.
Our skip.
Yeah, we're not getting Raj at all there. So Felix, congratulations on your performance. We'll catch up with him perhaps a little bit later on. Greg Hutchison, your other performers for Old Brighton, who did you think was impactful today?
Look, interesting. I looked at St Kevin's and I thought Sam Barnett had he was a real huge influence on the game. And but you kick 5 or 6 in the end?
Ended up with 5.
Yeah, it's a great effort. 5 out of 8. Yeah, really good. I thought Harry got going when he needed to. Hope he was good in the front half. His eyes light up pretty much when he sees those goals in front of him, and he competed really well. The backs were solid most of the day. Max Lowen competed really well. The two talls, Darcy Gilbert and Maxi Benair, held their own. So it was overall, it was a pretty good team performance by both sides. Both sides.
Good contest.
Yeah, it was
just
a good contest.
The whole day was a contest.
Yeah.
Skill error. There's a lot of skill errors, but that was probably pressure driven. Those skill errors, some of those as well. But it was a great contest. You always see these two sides have a good contest, and we saw that again today. They couldn't get to 10 goals though.
There you go.
Couldn't get the 10.
Cool.
Yeah, they couldn't get the 10. It was just wanted to be a very low-scoring, contested game of footy. Well, and you would have thought it was a defensive game, but...
Yeah, and I think in St Kevin's 4 games, they've been really, really close, with the exception of Dular last week, and the other 3 games they've been both teams have kicked under 10 goals. It's been really good, and defensively they're a really good side, St Kevin's, and look, they're going to be around the mark again. I thought Andriski played well across half-back for them. Tucker was good. I thought Hodgie played pretty well as well. So they're a good side, good competitive side. It was a tough game to be involved in. I think as a player, it was the conditions made it a little bit tricky, but full credit to both teams. They played really well.
This is our post-game show, all thanks to Brighton Beach Hotel, the best pub in Bayside. To watch the footy with friends, we'll have Marcel Bruin up in the commentary box not before too much time has passed. Let's go through the goal kickers today. 2 apiece for Hope and for Travers on debut. Greg Hutchison, who was super impressive. Campili, Seagar, Felix Flockhart, all with singles. For St Kevin's, it's Ferguson kicked 1, Kerr kicked 1, Mansfield kicked 1, Sam Barnett kicked 5. So it was Sam's day in front of the sticks. He was superb today. He's continued, I think, a really strong start to the season. This is a guy who played a bit of footy at St Kevin's a few years ago, Petchy, where you would have called him.
Absolutely, and he's a beautiful kick. He's a beautiful mover. And I think he also played in defence in those times back in the day when he was with St Kevin's. But gee whiz, he's certainly a very good footballer.
He's such an important guy to add in. He was the runner-up in the Old Geelong Best and Fairest last year. Played some footy in 2022 for Broadbeach in the QAFL. Before arriving here. He's just a little bit older, I think, for St Kevin's, which is helpful because they've got a lot of kids out there, albeit the likes of Tom Ferguson. You don't need to tell them to rein it in, because we saw with Ferg the big celebration, the shushing of the balcony, and I imagine he'll be receiving some advice and feedback from the Tunners faithful into the night today.
You're a coach, Greg. You're a coach. Now, feeding him. You see players do... Why? Why bother? Just get on with the game.
Yeah, look, it's hard. They get caught up in the emotion of the thing, and they watch AFL footy, and they watch a lot of other sports where it all happens, and they're young and easily influenced. It was a really good kick at goal, and he did really well to get it. And
however,
anyway, often those things come back to bite you just a little bit, don't they?
Certainly did.
Yeah.
Not that we wished that on him, but if I was a coach and I saw that, I'll be tearing straight. But that's me back in the time. That you'd be just. There's no need for that, mate. Get out there, let your skills do your talking for you, and don't worry about this other stuff.
Yeah, he might be.
It's annoying.
Yeah, he might be a tad embarrassed by what he did, but anyway, he's going to have a good future. He's a good young player.
Yes, he is.
He's a good young player. He's got plenty of energy.
No need to spoil it.
No, and they had introduced some good young players today too.
They have.
Was it number 29?
Duke.
Yeah, he was good as well. I mentioned Andriski had a good game.
You know what? I don't think from both sides you could say there was a bad player. It was just a good team environment game from both sides today. Everyone put in when they had to do it.
Yeah,
that's what I saw anyway.
Al Richards was really good, particularly in the first half. He sort of fell out of the game a bit in the second half, but he's got great energy and great enthusiasm for it, and he certainly gets them going. Even Brighton's. What we mentioned, Travis in his first game. Linda playing, he's going to rise. He's a young player. He's only played 3 games across half-back. And we mentioned the ball, Fraser. He was pretty solid in there as well. He's had some injury problems, Fraser, and he stood up when he needed to. It was an interesting game across the board. I don't think anyone disgraced themselves. It was a good effort.
So here we go again. Brighton on top of the ladder, 4 wins, similar to last year.
Yeah, look, they're going to be around the mark. Well, but both clubs are going to be around the mark again. Brighton have got Scotch next week, I think. Scotch or Zavs or someone. So it's going to be tight again for them. But they're a good side, really good competitive side.
Yep.
So 8-14, 62 Old Brighton, 8-7, 55 St Kevin's. Let's go around the grounds for the real stakes. I just got asked to take a photo while we're on air, but thanks, gentlemen. We might catch up with them later on. The results around the rest of the competition. Melbourne University Oval, it's the Blues 9-12-66, running out 5-goal winners over De La Salle 5-6-36. So an even 5-goal win there for the Uni Blues. De La still searching for its first win of the season.
They couldn't put them away. Out their home deck, they couldn't put De La away like every other side's done today. So have De La improved, or are Blues just on a treadmill.
I was out there to watch them, D-Lar, last week. They were short a couple of their mids against St Kevin's, and it's just the lapses that cost you in Premier Footy. If you're asleep for 5 minutes, you might concede a couple of goals. If you're asleep for 15, 20, you start to concede 6 and 7, which was how the game played out there. This is a big result over at the Harry Trott. So Collegians 13-12-90. Defeated by St Bernard's 15-7-97. This game was close all day. The largest margin at any break was the 7 points winning margin for St Bernard's. They've managed to go on the road. They're 3-0 when they travel this year, St Bernard's. Their only loss for the year to Old Brighton at the Snake Pit.
Yeah, and Brighton got hold of them in the first quarter last week, and
did.
apart from that, it was a pretty tough contest. So, you know, if you can hold your own against the best team in the competition, they're going to go pretty well. They've done really well. It's a great start for them.
Yes.
The only 2 goals kicked in time on in the last quarter were by St Bernard. So they were down by 5 points, and they get a quick 2-goal turnaround to win that one. Over at Princess Park, Caulfield South, Old Haileybury 15-10-100, an even ton for the Bloods. They beat the University Blacks 7-14-56, leading at every change. They were 11-1 at half-time. They had a 45-point advantage at the long break, and they run out winners, the Bloods, who are just getting the grips of Premier Footy quite nicely at this early point.
So how far was that win?
It was a 44-point victory.
I still think Blacks are going to trouble some sides in this comp.
Yeah.
From what I saw with them a few weeks ago, they've got the ability, whether they've got the skill level, but they do have the ability, I think, to trouble a couple of sides.
Yeah, I saw them only in round 1 against Brighton, and they were pretty disappointing that day. But, you know, they beat Uni Blues last week, so it depends on their personnel each week. And you're right, they will trouble some sides.
I think so.
Yeah.
But not Haileybury today, that's for sure.
No.
I've left this for last. So Old Scotch and the Old Zaverians. At quarter time, it was Scotch by 20. At half time, scores were level at 41. In the second half, the Zaverians have kicked 13 goals to 0. And they've won 19-12-126 to Scotch 6-10-46. What a performance that is.
That's a walloping.
That's an 80-point win for the Zavs.
Yeah, and interestingly, Paddy, I saw the reserve score, and Zavs really got hold of the Scotch in the reserves as well. So there might be some things happening with Scotch's availability of players at the moment. I know they've got a lot of players on VFL lists, so they might be just struggling for availability. I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone. It's a great performance by Zavs in the second half, but it just might be that Scotch have got troubles with their depth at the moment.
80 points. That's a serious margin. They've kicked 2 goals after quarter time at Old Scotch to the Zavs 18. So that is
if you are
a serious
correct,
show up.
If Greg is correct, as a former coach, how does that make you feel? Where you've got, okay, let them go and do their thing. But look at this, an 80-point defeat when you've got players that can play good footy.
Yeah,
and they're getting a walloping like that because of that.
Yeah, it's really challenging, and it makes it difficult.
It does.
Yeah,
it has to.
Yeah, and trying to maintain the morales, it can obviously be a bit of a difficult thing. But
yeah.
Very special guest in the commentary box today. Roving Mike wasn't quite working today. Poor Raj Johnston was bailing himself out. So Felix Flockhart's been good enough to join us in the commentary box. Hello, Felix.
How you going?
Pretty good. Not as good as you. How did that feel putting the winner through?
Pretty good. I hadn't really been in here for 2 quarters, so to kick it when it counts, it means a lot.
Marcel Bruin, the coach of the Tunners, also joins us. Marcel, you told us pre-game it was going to be another close contest. It was a 7 points decided again. This is ridiculous at this point.
Was hoping that was going to be the antithesis of what I was saying, but that was a blowout compared to some of the other ones.
So it's now 6 games decided by 7 points or fewer. You guys just know how to play out thrillers.
Yeah.
Incredible game of footy, I think, tactically, like really tight, contested first half. It started to break open in that third quarter. How did you hold back St Kevin's when they were charging?
Yeah, well, I don't actually know, Paddy, if I'm honest. No, they were on top. They were certainly on top around the stoppages, and we're generating a lot of forward ball. And unfortunately, at times our defenders were probably dropping off and guarding a bit of grass. So once they got that sorted out, we obviously shifted, and I challenged the boys at 3/4 time to get their balance right around the contest, which seemed to be a little bit off, giving them the backside of the contest where they were able to release with really clean hands. So credit to those St Kevin mids. They were very clean in contest and were able to release, get the ball to the outside, which obviously we wanted to do. So, we made a bit of a no real, I don't think, positional changes, but just a challenge to the guys to get back to work and maybe have a bit
better focus around contest at holding better balance. So.
You only had Felix for one game last year, which was against St Kevin's at this ground, round 18, if I remember correctly. How handy is it having two Flockharts running around?
Well, it's handy having not Billy Coates running around.
Yes.
That's the first part. Obviously, their ruckman was fantastic today as well. So they found another bloke, another big bloke. I don't know how they breed him over at St Kevin's, but it's pretty good. But yeah, having the big flick is just changes your dynamic. He's been elite at getting his hands to the ball and creating opportunity for the guys that are roving at his feet, and then have a 6'7" bloke who can roll forward, take some nice jukes and kick straight is a real blessing. So. Bit of flexibility.
Sorry, Marcel. How have you found your time up forward this year, Felix? We've seen a lot of you in the ruck playing for Port Melbourne last year. You get a role coming out of centre half forward at times, and then you jump behind the footy. How's it felt for you?
Yeah, I love playing down forward. Certainly helps when Sam can give me a chop out. It's very relieving. Especially that last quarter. I don't want to look at the vision. I was just sitting one out with the wind the whole time. Seriously, the backs and the mids, they worked that hard, so it was very nice to be sitting forward, but it's nice to get on the end of one, especially when it counted. But yeah, it is nice playing forward for sure.
So you've been able to introduce Zach Travers, Sammy Lindner, Tommy Howden and Ryan Agg into the team, which has been a really good thing for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They've brought great energy. They've all deserved an opportunity at the senior level. Off the back of a couple of injuries, which you never want, but they're always going to happen at a football level. So we've hopefully got the training right where it's very process driven. Next man in, they understand the method, so they can roll in. Like Rags rolled into a really challenging position to play forward and acquitted himself incredibly well. Got 7 scoring shots against St Bernard's last week in his first game at senior level, and he's been an opportunity and a chance for a long period of time. So to get an opportunity has been great. The 2 young bucks that have come in, Bucky obviously in round 2, and then Travers now, just give you great energy, and they've come out of a fantastic football program. So we don't have to educate overly much. We bring them in and let their talent shine in some respects. So that's a really pleasing aspect of being able to play young guys. And not have to rely on young guys as well. So we've got a great balance of maturity there as well.
Felix, how is it playing with your mates again?
Oh, it's the best. I have a smile on my face every time I step on the field. It's having a great time. Training before the game, after the game. It's awesome. You look at every single bloke I'm super close with, and it means a lot, especially to win. We have a good culture where no one cares how they play. Like, I just go out there and all I want to do is win, and especially that last quarter, I'm just so happy we got over the line.
What was it like when you had that shot at goal? It was a difficult spot, especially with how blustery it was. You're about 40 metres out, tucked in the pocket.
We did speak, Paddy, about trying to get into the other side. For most of it, you would have heard from Raj.
Yes.
And every entry was coming in from this side, which we wanted to defend. So, yeah, it was a bloody good kick.
It was a beautiful drop punt. Did you ever think about stepping around or centering it, or do you love those moments taking responsibility?
Oh, look. I backed myself, but I wasn't going to center it. That didn't cross my mind once, I'm not going to lie. I had 2 of the boys come up to me and say left goalpost. There's a few St Kevin's water boys right next to me, and they were telling me where I should kick it. It was very funny. I thought I started it a little bit too straight with the wind, but it just hung on. So I was, very, very happy with the kick.
Beautiful. Next 2 weeks for you two, I'm really interested in this. So you get St Kevin's today, which is a real test. You get Old Scotch next week here as well, the reigning premiers, and then you get the Old Zavarians. I'm not sure if you'd have seen the results yet, Marcel, but scores were level at half-time between the Zavs and Scotch. Zavs kicked 12 goals to zip in the second half, and they've won by 80 points.
Jeepers.
So you're getting a pretty, I think, stung Scotch team next week, and then a Zavs team that's in absolute full flight. How do you prepare? Have you targeted this 3-week block at all, or is it just business as usual for you?
Well, you've got to play every team twice. So, the expectation is that you're going to play, obviously, the 2 teams, or the teams, twice, and the block that we've got, it's a massive challenge. If you look at ladder position from last year and the way that those teams have performed, I think the first iteration of the fixture came out and it was the reverse. So we had these 4 teams that we're about to face over the next few weeks, collegians included, through the first 6 weeks of footy. So there's never really a time where you relax in A-grade football, and Scotch represents a really massive challenge for us.
not just necessarily because of what happened last year. Very deserved winners of the flag, unfortunately. We just want to obviously continue to get better and develop every week, and hopefully that looks like a win against a really quality opposition. And Zavs is, I think everyone sets themselves up for Zavs. I think that's just the culture of success that they've created, almost a target on their back in some respects. So we'll really look forward to going out and seeing the new facilities at Toorak Park and catching up with Nutsy as well, and hopefully, we just, again, that's a great challenge for us today that hopefully switches us on to play our best footy over the next few weeks.
Well, Soup, you won't be disappointed with the facilities you get out there and see. I've been fortunate enough to spend a bit of time out there over the last month or so, and the facilities are outstanding, so you'll really enjoy that. Now, Felix, I've relinquished the Big V coaching duties this year, but I'm led to believe that Daniel Harford has been texting me quite regularly, and just interested to see if you've got any movements in July, if you're having any time off or what you're doing, and whether or not you'd be interested in maybe making yourself available for the Big V, which would be a fantastic thing for you. I know Marcel's been really strong on supporting the Big V. It's another opportunity for you to showcase your wares, so expect a call from Harf at some stage, mate, because and I did give you a bit of a crack. Yeah.
He'll put you on the spot.
There's some good ruckmen in the league, so yeah.
Yeah, no, they certainly are, and you've been in good form, and it's good, and it's really good to have you here and showing your wares on a regular basis. You're a terrific player, and you work really well with your brother, and but I'd expect at some stage Harf will make contact with you, and you too, Marcel.
Keep that ringer on, Felix. You could have advertised yourself as a lead-up full forward with the way that you've been clunking him to start this season, I reckon. Give yourself a little bit of a pump-up. Marcel, Felix, thank you so much for your company and taking time out of the celebrations. Go enjoy the win.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Marcel Bruin, the coach of Old Brighton, and our Skins player of the day, Felix Flockhart, joining us up in the commentary box. Fantastic win today for the Tunners, getting it done over St Kevin's by 7 points here at Brighton Beach Oval. Simon Petch and Raj Johnston about to rejoin us here on the balcony, which has been very heavily populated. I am at times, Hutch, worried about the structural integrity of this thing, considering how many people tend to pack in it when the footy's on.
Yeah, it's probably not the bravest, the smartest place for us to be at the moment. Well, we do get a good view, and I'm led to believe that the new pavilion at I think is going to be built across where the the playground is. So we'll have a great view looking into the sun in a couple of years' time. And I don't think that person that lives just across there is going to be overly happy when they get the pavilion built in front of them.
Property value might be tumbling in these parts. We might have to keep our eye on that. Anyway. Let's welcome back Simon Petch for the last few things we'll tick off before we get out of here. Our goal of the day and the mark of the day. Mark of the day is for informed design, contemporary design and personalised service that guarantees certainty, quality and value. It's a pretty tough one to pick out today, Hutch. It was a contested game of footy. Any marks stand out to you?
If Felix take a mark to make sure he kicked the goal, they've probably... you're asking the wrong person about who takes mark of the day. I'm not a great judge of that.
Simon Petch?
No, I'd say Sam Critchley down here in the pocket here. He was looking over his head. The ball had to fall on his chest in the right spot, and it did. It was a very well judged mark. There was no high flying here today. There was nothing spectacular. That wasn't spectacular, but the fact that he was running with the ball behind him, he was looking over his shoulder. That was a well-judged and experienced mark for mine. I'll go with that.
For informed design, Sam Critchley, our mark of the day. Raj Johnston, goal of the day. I might handball this to you because you've had a tough time with technology today, mate. You've fought manfully, but for lighting options, providing lighting solutions across Greater Melbourne, Mornington, Geelong and the Surf Coast. What was your pick for goal of the day?
Ooh, lots of contenders, but you have to go for one of them from Sam Barnett, I think. To kick 5 goals was a brilliant effort.
He was super today, Sam Barnett. 5 goals for St Kevin's. He would have been a shoe-in for our best on ground had St Kevin's held up strongly. Gentlemen, we're about done. Before we do, just a reminder of the Premier B results as well. From the second grade, Old Geelong got the win over Hampton Rovers by 44 points. Trinity by 17 points as it stands over the Old Melburnians. Old Carey by 60 points over Caulfield Grammarians. Looks like Old Camberwell are going to do it over Fitzroy. They're up by 20 points at Brunswick Street Oval. And Old Ivanhoe were challenged by Williamstown CYMS, but with 5 minutes to go in that one, they lead by 14 points at Chelsworth Park. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, Old Brighton, obviously the winners by 7 points here at Brighton Beach Oval. The Blues, the Zavs, the Snow Dogs, and the Bloods winners as well
Well, going back to Premier B, Fitzroy haven't started off very well, have they? Like, that's pretty disappointing considering the year that they had here in Premier Grade last year. They've dropped, what, four games?
They haven't won a game to start their season.
They'll be going straight back down to C the way they're going at the moment. Gee whiz. I really thought that what they had last year was going to be good enough to get them back up. But gee whiz, that's a bad start for them.
Yeah, it's a tough comp, Premier B. Like, it's really even. They've got some really talented teams.
Yeah.
Old Camberwell, Old Ivanhoe, Trinity. It's a tough comp, that one. But it is a surprise, Petch, that Fitzroy have gone back and haven't won a game.
I saw them last week play the Anzac Day game against Williamstown CYMS, and it was noticeable that Fitzroy had lost a couple that we saw in top flight footy. So Jack McKay, I think, has departed. No Heath Ramshaw. I think Laird Ramshaw was out there either. So their prime movers weren't out there. And of course, one of the better players that we've seen in the Fitzroy jumper of recent times, Donovan Toohey, is playing his trade in the VFL every week, and he's doing mighty well at that too, I must add. Gentlemen, we're just about done here from Brighton Beach Oval. Cracking game of footy in the end. Thank you very much for your company.
Good as gold. Nice to be here.
Thanks, Paddy.
Always nice to be here on a nice day.
It is. So it's one of the reasons I gave up coaching here. I just couldn't put up with the training nights anymore.
The scheduler has done well this week, and let's hope that he continues on with that.
So thanks to Greg Hutchison, to Raj Johnston and to Simon Petch for their company today. To our man Bruce on the buttons, who battles manfully against all types of conditions. Did outstandingly well today as well. My name is Paddy Grindlay. It's farewell from Brighton Beach Oval. Old Brighton the winners by 7 points.
This has been the SEN Match of the Day. Thanks to William Buck. Join us again next week on the SEN app, sen.com.au and vafa.com.au.
Footy's at the heart of Victoria, but gambling harm is creeping onto our fields. That's where the Real Stakes steps in. Backed by the Victorian Amateur Football Association, the Real Stakes helps local clubs tackle the risk of online sports betting head on. Get the tools, spark the conversation, and protect what really matters, your mates. Visit realstakes.com.au to find out more. Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Keep up to date with everything that's happening around the VAFA by subscribing to our socials. We're on Instagram, X, Facebook, LinkedIn and TikTok. Join in the fun with the best pics, videos, stories and reels from around the competition. Send us your best and we might share them around the league. VAFA Socials. Search VAFA and VAFA Women's on your favourite platforms.
Would you like to get more closely involved with footy and enjoy the unique camaraderie and bonds that exist in and around footy clubs? VAFA clubs are always looking for volunteers to assist with the weekly running of the club, both on and off the field. Log on to vafa.com.au and check out our club directory to find a club near you.
Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.